cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces, and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream, available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
Window Nation can help beat the heat in your home with a buy two, get two free offer on insulated, energy-efficient windows, plus zero down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Schedule an in-home estimate now at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs. You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
Houck's next pitch on the way. Ohtani drives this one to right. Soto doesn't move. He looks over his shoulder, and 12 rows deep it lands. A 3-run home run for the superstar Shohei Ohtani. This one may be out of play. He smacks one to right, and it is way out of here. Jarren Duran about 25 rows up, right center field, a 2-run home run, and now the American League is on top, 5-3, a no-doubter that traveled 413 feet.
Major League Baseball's Midsummer Classic last night. The American League wins it 5-3. And
sorry, as a Cubs fan, I'm like, no.
You can boo all you want for a game of zero consequence.
Hey, I know.
I mean, let's be real.
Other than
All-Star
just
games are meant to be just a showcase for fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. That's the whole point. So you get a chance to see players that you've maybe never seen before, or you don't get to see them often because they play, 3 time zones away, whatever it might be. Oh, it's a chance to maybe tune in and actually see that player play. Like Shohei Ohtani hitting 3-run dingers.
Yeah,
That's the point of the All-Star game. And you know what?
Best.
That's the fill I needed. I was like, oh, Shohei hits a homer, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I needed. That's really all I watched yesterday from the All-Star game.
Yeah. Our top pitcher for the Cubs, I say ours because I'm a Cubs fan, but
you can say ours.
Shota, he was pitching, and I'm like, please just don't get hurt. Like, all I kept thinking was, please just don't get hurt.
That's a big thing. By the way, this is
where it counts.
By the way, this is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always, and we'll get into the All-Star game and some things like that, and stuff with Major League Baseball that the commissioner Rob Manfred has been talking about that impacts not just baseball fans, but I think this is kind of an evolution we're seeing in sports, and at least how we as fans consume them and how we access the content that we want to have in regards to watching live games and highlights and things along those lines. So he had comments regarding that because I know a lot of people in this state, the great state of North Carolina, watch Carolina Hurricanes. They watch Atlanta Braves. They watch the Charlotte Hornets in some way, shape, or form. It's all changing how we are able to watch games. So we'll dive into that here in just a little bit. As I mentioned, Carolina Hurricanes, Victoria, let's go ahead and just get things started. So what's the latest for the Carolina Hurricanes? The latest is there is nothing. There's nothing new in terms of like deals being done, pen to paper, those kinds of things. But that doesn't mean things aren't happening, Victoria. Things that we may not be seeing. Actually, I don't know if people may have saw this yesterday. Our program director, Paul, turned me on to this earlier today. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. Shumi Babiev, agent for the Carolina Hurricanes, or agent for NHL players and KHL players, part of the agency for Evgeny Kuznetsov, actually posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, yesterday saying, Everything is possible in our life, but it's not too early to talk about Evgeny Kuznetsov returned to Russia at Canes. Like, he tagged the Canes in that post, Victoria. It's like, oh, okay. So are you upset that, was it the Canes that leaked out that Kuznetsov was trying to leave and that you're going to try and look for this buyout? So anyway, things are just, lack of a better term, murky, Victoria, when it comes to Evgeny Kuznetsov and the Carolina Hurricanes and about what that future might look like. I know Luke DeCock was here in studio yesterday with Adam Gold, and they had talked about it, and something that they brought up and something that I had mentioned before. The Washington Capitals have a say in any of this? Because, Victoria, last time I checked, the Washington Capitals retained half of the salary of Evgeny Kuznetsov as part of the trade when they sent Kuznetsov to the Carolina Hurricanes to the trade deadline for a third-round pick. Part of that deal was Washington's like, all right, fine, we'll keep half of the $7.8 million salary cap hit. We'll keep half. That way you don't have to take the full brunt of it. Okay, deal. Well, if we're talking about buyout and that money coming off the books for the Carolina Hurricanes, I'm sure the same thing has to go with the Washington Capitals. Do they have any sort of say in this?
Exactly.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation in that regard. This type of thing doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Well, we do have something fresh off the Walt Ruff press.
Oh, give me the Walt Ruff. Give me the Walt Ruff press. He was on the show earlier this week. Give it to me.
Yes, exactly. So he at 12 o'clock today, so it's 5 minutes in, he said the Canes have placed forward Kuznetsov on unconditional waivers for the purpose of contract termination.
Well, now hit the breaking news sounder, because I did not know this when the show started. Hit it. Hit the breaking news sounder.
Hold on, I got to find it. I'm like reading. So there we go. So,
okay, there it is.
He said, quote, ultimately, both sides agreed this was the best course of action for both the player and the team. General manager Eric Tulsky said, we thank Kuznetsov for his time with the team and wish him and his family the best. So there's that.
Okay, well, everything I had planned to talk about at the beginning part of this segment, scrapping a big chunk of that right now based off of that.
Yeah.
Just scrapping that based off of that news. We'll definitely got to put this up on YouTube and all the things, Victoria, for sure, because this is a big deal. All right, so Evgeny Kuznetsov is going to be bought out or have his contract terminated, according to Walt Ruff. I believe Walt Ruff said the word termination, correct?
Yep, it's
okay,
in there. Contract termination.
Okay. So what does that mean for the Carolina Hurricanes? Having his contract terminated, $3.9 million of his cap hit now becomes available to the team. The team was looking at roughly around $13 million, roughly $13 million of cap space before this transaction takes place. Now, here's the thing. Unconditional waivers for the purpose of a contract termination. If a team wants to randomly claim them, go ahead, knock your socks off. It's not going to happen. But now you take the 13-ish million and add 3.9 million to that. Now you're looking at close to somewhere between $16.5, $17 million of cap space. And this is actually the thing I was going to get into next. The Carolina Hurricanes have until this weekend, have until Saturday, to work out a deal with Jack Drury and Martin Necas, guys that are restricted free agents who elected for salary arbitration, which is within their right according to the CBA. You have time to get deals done with those guys now. Like, for example, if you want to do Jack Drury a 2-year deal at like average of $2 million a year, let's say, hey, look, Martin Necas, let's do 1 year, $6 million, or 2 years, $6 million per year, just to kind of bridge you over to unrestricted free agency, or, we can look to trade you next offseason, whatever it is. We'll see how things work. Okay, you can do that. And then if you want to lock in long-term Seth Jarvis, who's a restricted free agent, just 22 years old, you could do that now. Having that $3.9 million of cap space allows you to do all three of those things right now, as opposed to, okay, we got to do arbitration with Drury, and we got to do arbitration with Martin Necas, and then whatever's left over, we got to figure out with Seth Jarvis going into this year. Like, do we have to do a bridge deal? Which I don't think the Carolina Hurricanes want to do. They want to have that young guy locked up for the next 8 years. Now, Seth Jarvis can say, hey, you know what? I'm 22 years old. I just scored 33 goals and had 67 points, and I did all that with a busted up shoulder, and I still played through it, and look how effective I was. Maybe I'll do a 4-year deal to get me through all my restricted free agency years, and I'll be 26 years old, and I can cash in again on an 8-year deal then. Maybe that's a route he wants to do.
Maybe.
That's within his right. It's within his right. We saw a player in the LA Kings by the name of Quentin Byfield, drafted in 2020, just like Seth Jarvis was. Basically 6 months younger than Seth Jarvis. This past year for the LA Kings had 20 goals and 35 assists. Plays center. He's a bigger guy, but he plays center. 20 goals, 35 assists, 55 points. Far below what Seth Jarvis put up this year, right? He signed a 5-year extension for $6.25 million a year. And it's like Seth Jarvis has already been better than Quentin Byfield, and Byfield's only had 1 good year. Seth Jarvis has had 3 really good years. I'd say 2 really good and 1 great year. So like Jarvis would be like, wait, hold on, that guy's getting paid this much, and I'm already better than him and have been doing it better than him for a long time, and I've proven it in the playoffs too. That didn't do the Carolina Hurricanes any favors in terms of like a negotiating starting point. But nonetheless, $3.9 million coming off the books of Evgeny Kuznetsov contract termination is valuable for the Carolina Hurricanes. And there's also the possibility that Jesper Foss might not play this season. He's still dealing with a neck injury.
Yeah, and those are tough.
You don't mess with it.
No, you don't want to.
You don't mess with a neck injury. And, I mean, gosh, I think it was back at the Justin Timberlake concert at PNC Arena here in Raleigh, just like, a matter of weeks ago. He was still seen in the neck brace. And Eric Tolsky was actually asked about it at a press conference that he had recently. And he was asked for an update, and he said, yeah, there's no update on Jesper Foss. Which tells me means there's no progress. As in when you got like, hey, he's progressing. We're going to reevaluate him in a month, and we'll see how things are for training camp. None of that. It's just there's no update. Which tells me he's not going to be able to play. That's what that tells me. So now you also have that $2.4 million of his cap hit. You can put it on long-term IR, and you can basically get cap relief in that regard too. So, yes, the Carolina Hurricanes are losing a player in Evgeny Kuznetsov, a highly skilled player. And Adam talked about yesterday about a player who shows up in big moments. He scored 4 goals in the playoffs this past year. Yes, you are losing that, but the long-term benefit of him not being here this year is far greater than him being here this year. The long-term benefit of being able to work out deals with Drury, with Natchez, and with Seth Jarvis to a long-term deal for him, the fact that you have the ability really to do that now helps your franchise in the long run more than it does just this year. And I think also one more thing, Victoria, this opens up. My gut's telling me we're going to see a rookie in the opening night lineup.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see a rookie in the opening night lineup.
I know.
My gut's just telling me because
this roster's so different. We don't have the bag of tricks that we used to.
It's vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, the top guys are still going to be Aho, Svechnikov, and Jarvis. Those are your top dudes. If Martin Natchez stays, which I think everything kind of indicates that he's going to be here now.
Right, yeah. Because could you imagine if we didn't have him? Like,
I'm assuming if you would give him up, you would be getting.
We've got to get more.
Something equal in return.
I don't even know what that would be.
No one knows.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that market's probably kind of dried up for everybody. But nonetheless, looking at the second line, it's just kind of like outside of Martin Natchez, is it okay? Jesper Kotkaniemi, who got bumped down and relegated to fourth line winger duties late in the season into the playoffs. Is he back to be your number 2 center where he started last year? Do you bump Jack Drury back up to that spot, which he kind of got shoehorned into that role last year in the playoffs because Kuznetsov and Kotkaniemi were underperforming in some aspects, especially like mostly on the defensive side of things?
It's definitely concerning because it feels like we've lost that spark that gets us excited. You know, when we brought Jake on and we brought Kuzi on, and that just sparked us like, okay, now we've got this team complete.
Yeah.
And now we are just in such a deficit that,
it's a transition year.
It definitely
Like
is.
I still think they make the playoffs. I really do. I still think they make the playoffs. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a grinding style of play. It's going to be a lot of 2-1s, but they're still built on team defense, which the team defense is still going to be great. They're going to be, because of their style of play, they're going to be in every single game. It's kind of a transition year, and I honestly think now with Kuznetsov gone, part of that transition is going to start maybe a little faster. We were told by assistant general manager Darren York last week at development camp for the Carolina Hurricanes that Felix Unger-Sorum, who's a child by all accounts in terms of age, like he literally at the start of training camp last year was still 17 years old for the Carolina Hurricanes. He was the youngest player drafted in 2023. He'll turn 19 years old in September, and by all accounts, according to Darren York, he's going to play in North America this year, whether that's in AHL in Chicago with the Wolves, or he's going to be playing in the NHL level. But he's going to be here. And it would not surprise me if he's the guy. Would not surprise me if he's the guy. He was playing in the Swedish Hockey League last year against grown men, whereas Jackson Blake and Bradley Nadeau, they were playing in college against, other similar aged guys. It might be Felix Unger-Sorum. That's just my gut telling me that. I don't have any inside information on that. But the door's open now. The door's open for a young forward to be in this lineup in some way, shape, or form. But yes, so there it is. The breaking news. Evgeny Kuznetsov, according to Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com, the Canes have placed Evgeny Kuznetsov on unconditional waivers for the purpose of contract termination. GM Eric Tolsky saying, quote, ultimately, both sides agreed this was the best course of action for both the player and the team. We thank Evgeny for his time with the team and wish him and his family the best. Also, one last thing for that on Kuznetsov. He's already got a Stanley Cup, right? His name's on the cup. He's had some great seasons. Honestly, he probably should have been the Conn Smythe winner back in 2018 when he won the cup with Washington. He's done everything in his NHL career that he needs to. He's made plenty of money. Again, won a championship. Spend the last few years of your hockey playing career back home where you'll be a star. He'll be a star back home in Russia playing in the KHL.
I'm sure
that dude will be royalty over there. Absolute royalty. He'll get paid handsomely. Here's the thing as well. Kuznetsov is walking away from $7.8 million. That's the one thing we got to keep in mind. He's walking away from a lot of cash to go play in Russia. The guy's going to get paid handsomely over there. He's going to be treated like royalty. So you know what? Go out on your own terms. Go have fun. Go enjoy those last few years of your playing career. Get paid handsomely. Be a star. Go have fun. Play the style of play that you want. And have your family and everyone back home. That's what you'd have. All right. Next up. So last night, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game took place. 5-3 American League. Sorry, Victoria. I know you're very upset by that, as being a Cubs fan that you are. I'm sure you're very upset by that.
We've had plenty of years to get used to them losing.
You won your championship within the last...
In my lifetime, so I'm good forever.
You're good. You're fine. There's a lot of fan bases that can't even say that.
There are a lot of them.
You're okay. It's fine. I know. It's just kind of like, man, remember when?
Yeah,
remember when?
The good old days. I know.
Remember when those All-Star games and stuff used to actually somewhat sort of matter? Remember when they used to actually have the home field advantage of the World Series was decided by the All-Star game?
Yeah.
I kind of get it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I had a better regular season, like if I won 110 games and I'm make it to the World Series and the other team won 91, why do they get home field advantage? Because the National League won the All-Star game or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
I don't want that. No, I had the better season than they did.
True.
But nonetheless, the All-Star game was last night, and there was somewhere around 30 first-time All-Stars, which I think is kind of good for Major League Baseball. Sports in general, especially like niche regional sports like baseball, like hockey, have to do a better job of promoting young stars. I even say this to the NBA to an extent. You have to continue to promote and push young stars because that's how your game stays relevant. I think hockey really has to do this as well, but baseball really needs to do this. And part of it actually comes down to how us as fans can actually consume games. I know that a lot of Atlanta Braves fans here in the state of North Carolina, because you can get Bally Sports South, that's the team you watch. I know if I say Andrew Jones, Victoria, to a lot of people in this state, they know exactly who I'm talking about. Now, the Braves kind of have somewhat of a larger following because part of Turner, and they were on TBS and the 7:05 first pitches, and those kinds of things. Still, when it comes to regional sports teams, you have to be able to access casual fans, right? How do you do that? You have to be available on TV. Because when people are flipping through the channels and they're like, hey, what's on tonight? Like, oh, there's a Braves game on, or there's a whatever Carolina Hurricanes game on. I have to be able to casually swing on by and stop by like, oh, yeah, I heard friends talking about it, I heard people at work talking about it. How do I watch it? Now, Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, talked about that actually earlier today, or actually right around the All-Star game, about how the regional sports model, which for regional sports networks are for those mostly in this area, that's like Bally Sports South. You use Bally Sports to watch the Braves or the Hornets or the Carolina Hurricanes. Either Bally Sports South or Bally Sports Southeast. A lot of Major League Baseball owners are kind of concerned or questioning the ability of regional sports networks like Bally Sports, and about, is that a good model for us to actually have our television rights out there for our fans to consume? Is that the best model? Because, I don't know, like you, Victoria, I've kind of cut the cord when it comes to watching TV. I don't actually have cable anymore. I have YouTube TV, which is basically like cable in a sense. Like, I still get local channels, I still get ESPN and TNT and all those things. But a lot of those platforms do not carry Bally Sports channels, which makes it frustrating for fans that want to watch games. And that's how you miss a lot of people. So the regional sports network kind of has been shrinking, and the viability of them have been shrinking. So Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, has been talking about, well, maybe actually if teams can actually package their stuff together on more of a national scale. Like, maybe we can take the product and put it on another distribution platform, like another streaming platform. Like, for example, I'm going to use this as a hypothetical. What if Amazon said, we'll take over the broadcasting rights for like these 12 properties? Let's say the Braves, the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, your Cubs, whatever it might be. They can actually package those things together, and maybe that's the way to distribute your product. Maybe that's the route. And I say that is because for us as fans, it's easy for us to watch college football, right? Or it's easiest for us to watch the NFL. It's on CBS, it's on Fox, it's on ABC, Sunday Night Football on NBC, it's on ESPN. It's a lot easier for us to consume those things. But when it comes to the more niche and regional sports, like here in North Carolina, we have the Hurricanes or the Hornets. I live here in Raleigh and Victoria. We can't even watch Charlotte Hornet games.
We cannot.
Like the pro basketball team in our state, we can't even watch.
So frustrating.
It sucks. I want to watch Hornets games. Even if they stink, I still want to watch because they're the pro basketball team in the state I live in. I want to be able to watch them. But because of Bally Sports and not coming to agreement with YouTube TV and where they limit what channels broadcast where, you can't watch Hornets games in Raleigh. Like, Charlotte's 2.5 hours away.
Doesn't make any sense.
It makes zero sense. And people will say, well, you can get NBA League Pass. So actually sometimes like I get the NBA, NBA channel on YouTube TV, and they'll have a Hornets game on there. I'm like, sweet, I could watch a Hornets game. And I go to click on it. Nah, regional game. You have to watch the regional network. You can't watch it through this channel. And we'll go,
never mind.
I don't even get that other channel.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
It's extremely frustrating. I think this actually really hurts, especially mid and small market teams. It's like you are actually limiting access to your product. And that's the one thing that frustrates me when it comes to sports right now and sports entities. Why are you limiting the ability for your teams to, or limiting your fans to watch your team play? Like last time I checked, a fan watching at home is a fan. And that fan might then in turn like, hey, you know what? Let's save up the money to go to a game. And let's buy the kid a jersey or whatever it might be. Whatever, because you want to be invested into that team. So I'm hoping that Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA figure this stuff out. Because right now, the NFL is the only one that doesn't sell its like local broadcast rights.
Yeah.
Like the Hornets, I'm sorry, the Carolina Panthers don't, hey, we're going to sell to, name local broadcast company. Like, for example, Raycom. A lot of people here in the state of North Carolina know Raycom, Jefferson Pilot Sports, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they don't do that. Not for national. Everything's sold on a national scale. I'm hoping that Major League Baseball, the NBA, NHL kind of figure this stuff out. Because I think it's vital for us as fans.
Yeah.
And then also, how does that potentially tie into what college football is doing? I'm actually going to dive more into that at about 1:15 today. There's something that Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, said when it comes to TV rights for the Big 12 that actually has me questioning or speculating about what TV and not just what TV will look like regarding college football, but how they structure television contracts in college football might lead to that quote-unquote super conference of college football breaking away from the NCAA. There's something that he said that might be an underlying path to get to that standpoint. That's going to be more at 1:15 today. That's the reason why I bring all that up. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always. If you had not heard, the Carolina Hurricanes officially announced this earlier at noon today. Mm-hmm. WaltRuffHurricanes.com said Evgeny Kuznetsov is placed on unconditional waivers for the purpose of contract termination. So that is an official thing. So he's on waivers, purpose of contract termination, which means he's not going to be a Carolina Hurricane next year.
He will not be.
But that's $3.9 million in cap space.
Birdman's flying.
If you want more on that, if you missed any of that conversation, check out 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page. 99.9 The Fan is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. Victoria, I know you're already working hard on putting that conversation we had up on YouTube right now. And leave thoughts in the comments. And also, if you can stream this show live on YouTube as well. You can take us anywhere. Just search 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, and you'll find it. You'll find it right there. On the other side, a former Carolina Panther said something positive about someone currently with the Carolina Panthers. And how does that impact this coming season? We'll explain coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Golf's final major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the Open Championship from Royal Troon. Find out if Brian Harmon can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Claret Jug. Coverage of the Open Championship on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf with 16 top-ranked courses, the best private club value from the mountains to the coast.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
What are you doing? eating caviar. Yuck. Get this. Supreme 7 scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have the best odds to win $400 with a $4 million top prize. So I'm learning to enjoy rich people stuff.
Okay, let me try. Gross. What's next?
Ballroom dancing.
I'll lead.
New Supreme 7s, a shot at supreme riches. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.18. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now. With Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time.
Hey, Katie. Hi. Let's embark on a performance calibration initiative synthesizing qualitative and quantitative metrics for this past fiscal year.
If Heineken Silver was corporate jargon, it would have all the info you need. None of the annoying gibberish.
What I was trying to say is, you crushed it last year, Katie. Lady, you are getting a big, fat bonus.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Don't miss limited-time doorbusters during Pro Savings Days, right now at Lowe's. Starting July 15th for 3 days only, you can save $60 when you buy a DeWalt 12-volt multi-head drill driver. Was $189, now $129. Plus, get 50% off a DeWalt Tough Grip 110-piece screwdriver bit set. Shop these deals and more while supplies last. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Valid 7/15 through 7/17. Selection varies by location.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
I know, Victoria, you probably want this completely erased from your memory, but remember when Baker Mayfield was the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers? Remember when?
Yeah.
That was just 2 seasons ago, by the way. Yeah. That was 2022. That was just 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness, how much has changed.
A lot has changed.
Oh, my goodness,
over the
how
last
much has
couple
changed.
Years. Wow.
How much has changed when it comes to the Carolina
we've gone
Panthers?
through like 10 head coaches. We've gone through all these guys, all the good players leaving. Yeah.
I don't know if you heard a noise in the background. That was Victoria's eyes rolling. You could literally hear it.
Yeah.
Like it was felt physically
yes.
and heard.
Through the vibes, yes. Oh, yeah.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. The reason why I mentioned Baker Mayfield, former Carolina Panther quarterback, came here from the Cleveland Browns, was traded for like a 5th-round pick that was actually drafted this year in 2024. Go figure. He was on the podcast, Part of My Take. Part of My Take, Big Cat, PFT commenter, part of Barstool. He was actually on with them earlier this week, and he was asked about his former offensive coordinator with Tampa Bay, because Baker Mayfield was asked about kind of the revitalization of his career in Tampa after being banged up his last year in Cleveland, coming to Carolina. He mentions, like, we weren't playing well. I was dealing with some injuries. They traded Christian McCaffrey, kind of got benched, and then all of a sudden he kind of got a fresh start to kind of close out the year with the Rams, and how the timing and all that just kind of worked out, how he finished the 2022 season with the Rams, which is just still crazy to think about, how he was like 2 days after getting let go was playing for the Rams. Wild story to think about. But again, how he revitalized his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year and ended up getting paid a really good contract this offseason, kind of be their franchise guy. The offensive coordinator was Dave Canales, who's now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Baker Mayfield was asked by the guys at Part of My Take about, hey, how do you see Canales as a head coach?
Good. Like, he's very relatable, smart guy. He took our receivers coach from Tampa with him to be the OC, Brad Idzik. Really, really good football mind. And I just think, like, those two guys together, like, around Bryce is going to be good for him. But Dave's got, the definition of an optimist bully. Like, it could be the worst day ever. Everything could be going wrong. And he's sitting there, he's like, guys, I got the next play. And, like, he's got a big old smile on his face. And you're like, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah.
But no, that's literally who he is, day in and day out. And, like, it's honestly refreshing, especially in that industry. It's like coaches are always negative, like, picking apart everything. But he's complete opposite.
I've never heard of an optimist bully.
Yeah, an optimist bully. I'm like, okay, that's one way to describe it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm for it.
Yeah, we need it here.
I'm okay with it. We need level of optimism.
There's one team that needs it. It's the Carolina Panthers.
They need it
and
drastically in abundance. They got to bully our way into it. Yeah. A couple of reasons why I love this is that he was asked, again, like he mentioned, like, he's going to be great for Bryce. And, like, how he's going to build Bryce's confidence, going to build on all the positive things. And later on in that conversation, he was asked about, the latter half of the season, about how they kind of simplified the offense a little bit even further. Because they basically said, like, look, we got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like, we got some players that we could work with. Let's just put them, like, keep it simple and just let these guys play. And they kind of morphed into a conversation about Mike Evans. But building off the positives and building off the confidence and boosting the confidence for guys that needed it I think is vital, because you look at Baker Mayfield was a first overall pick in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Went through the ups and downs, like went to the playoffs, won a playoff game.
Did a whole bunch of commercials.
Did tons of commercials. And the Browns kind of decided, you know what, we're going to move on from him. He was playing hurt. He even talked about there were moments when he was with Carolina, and then when he went to L.A., he's like, can I even do this anymore?
Yeah.
Like, he literally had that question. Baker Mayfield had the question as a former first overall pick, guy who just, like, oozes confidence and cockiness when he's out there in the field. And I have zero problem with that. Was like, I don't even know if I can do this anymore. Is there even, like, a spot for me to be a starter in the NFL? And he gets with Dave Canales and it rebuilt him.
Says a lot.
It says a ton. Now, hopefully, he could do that with Bryce. Hopefully, because Bryce isn't too broken, because he's 1 year in.
Yeah.
He's 1 year in, as opposed to Baker Mayfield, who is 6 years in.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Dave Canales can do that same thing. Now, here's the difference between Dave Canales, offensive coordinator, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dave Canales, head coach, Carolina Panthers. The focus is more than just what you're doing with your offense and your quarterback. The focus now is on everyone and the whole team. And if the team stinks, the team suffers, you have to answer for it. When he was in Tampa, Todd Bowles, the head coach, had to answer for it. You now have to answer for it. When things aren't going well for your team this season, at some point, like, you might start, let's say, 1-3, and you just lost a game 31-13, where the only touchdown you scored in that game was in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, because the other team's just sitting back and playing prevent and just trying to, like, let's just get out of here type situation. And that's the only time you score a touchdown all game. And you got to face the music. I hope that the positives and stuff that you have to build off of, that they're there, but you still are critical at the right times. Like, I just want to know, how is that going to wear on him as a head coach? Because he was a longtime position coach in the NFL with Seattle, with the master of positivity with Pete Carroll out with the Seahawks. And the Seahawks had a lot of success while he was there. Yeah. There really wasn't a lot of losing taking place in Seattle. Like, there was always like 9, 10, 11 win team, it felt like, in Seattle. They always were, you know, looked at the roster like, are they that good? Like, but they're winning 9 games every year.
That's the thing I think I'm most interested in seeing this season.
Yeah.
Because Dave Canales is going to experience loss. Like, he's going to experience a lot of bad games, because you can't go from rock bottom to the top.
Unless you're going to do it.
Yeah, I would
Unless
love
you're
for
gonna do
that.
it.
But if we're being realistic, he's going to deal with loss. So I'm just very intrigued to see how he handles that and how he works with the guys to like keep them optimistic.
And how does that message play? Let's say you are 3-6. How does that tone play to guys? It's like, all right, same old positive. Like, we just got our teeth kicked in, The rebuild of this team isn't going to happen overnight. We've talked about it, Victoria, a ton. The rebuild isn't going to happen overnight. I'm hoping that through this season that we see the culture of the team change and that they're building in the right direction and progress to the culture and the team that they want to have. The roster, again, it's not going to get reshaped overnight. There's still holes on the roster going into training camp, which, by the way, rookies report on Friday for the Carolina Panthers. Literally 2 days from today, rookies report. The first practice for the Carolina Panthers is 1 week from today.
Here we
Wednesday
are.
the 24th, 1 week from today, 9:30 in the morning in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Panthers have their first practice.
On the field.
Tons of optimism. Tons of optimism. Everyone's 0-0. Everyone's healthy, all the blah, blah, blah. But when you are struggling, how does that message play with your team? Does that culture you want to build, how does that work? The rebuild's not going to happen overnight. But I love the direction what they're going with right now. I love the way they're moving right now. Again, I'm not sitting here going to say they're a playoff team. I'm on the record 5-6 wins, which is progress.
Oh, yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Which is progress.
Yeah.
Which I think Panthers fans, if they look on the field and say, hey, you know what? We won 6 games in this year.
Yeah.
We won 6, but you know what? They were in a few more that, you know what? Maybe just didn't have quite the personnel, but they competed in all those games. They were making steps in the right direction. Bryce Young took massive leaps. They figured out their identity, what they want to have as a team and an offense moving forward, so they know the right guys to bring in to build the culture that they want to have. And again, also can sit there and say, hey, you know what? This guy doesn't fit our culture? Bye. This guy doesn't fit our culture? Bye. Let's go get the guys that do fit the culture that we have. They can take us to that next level.
Rather than keeping them around for years and years and hoping things turn around. Matt Rule. Sorry. I think speaking from a fan perspective, if we're all being realistic, that's all we want. We just want to see progression and not regression.
Yes. Well, can't regress much further.
Well, they could have no wins, and we don't want that. So,
I mean, if you want the Matt Rule spin zone on this, it's like at the end of the day, every time that we won a game, we were successful, and that every time that we won, we were 100. We were undefeated on every single game that we won during the time that I coached the Carolina Panthers. Therefore, when we won games, we were the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, get back in the corn, Matt. That's just.
This is the Adam. Go make your corn. Go back to your corn maze.
Get back in the field.
Get lost.
Yeah.
Get lost in your corn mazes out there in Nebraska. Yeah. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Victoria.
So true, though. I feel some type of way. I'm sorry.
You feel all.
I do.
Go back to your corn. One-timers coming up.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The home
taste of bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The new Bluebell Cookies and Cream Cheesecake is cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. Again, cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
The North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is excited to announce that the Canine Champions for Conservation is back for a second year. This guest favorite experience features rescue dogs performing thrilling agility challenges to raise awareness and support for wildlife conservation efforts. Shows run now through Labor Day weekend and are free with entry to the North Carolina Zoo. To learn more about this tail-wagging experience and other zoo-related activities, visit nczoo.org. Plan your next zoo adventure today.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? Next time you see a man or woman in uniform, why not stop and thank them for their service to our country? And what about the nurse at the hospital or the cafeteria worker serving your plate? A smile and a word of thanks goes a long way. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind to everybody. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
See, there have been plenty of excited fans at Bank of America Stadium. They just haven't been Panthers fans.
Yeah, exactly. It's the other team's fans.
I mean, there's a lot of happy Cowboy fans and 49er fans. Gosh, it sucks.
Because there's plenty of them.
And you know what? We're going to see a lot of Chiefs fans roll through Bank of America. Cowboys are back. You're going to see a lot of Cowboy fans roll through again.
Big time. Oh, yeah. Well, and you know, David Tepper brings music to Charlotte, so there's a lot of people who are happy to see concerts in Bank of America. There's that, too.
And running water and internet and infrastructure, everything.
All
those things. Seattle Gold Show, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam today and through the rest of the week. By the way, next week, we're going to be down in Charlotte for ACC Football Media Days, which actually start on Monday. SEC's having their media days taking place right now. I think Big Ten is also going to be at some point next week, and Big 12 actually had theirs last week. So football season's here, folks. Football season is here. By the way, if I remember correctly, Victoria, remember correctly. Let me actually check the calendar here to make sure that I am 100% accurate on this.
Okay.
3 weeks from tomorrow, not that long, folks, Panthers play their first preseason game. 3 weeks from tomorrow.
I know, isn't it like August 8th?
It is August 8th, Thursday, August 8th.
Yeah.
On the road in New England.
Exactly.
That's how close we are. Wild to think about. But until then, Victoria's teeing up one-timers.
So intense.
My slap shot ain't worth a hill of beans, but I'll snap a wrister, Victoria.
It's okay.
What we got here?
That's all right. So, looking at the Canes, it looks like there's still some unfinished business, We still have Natchez and Drury and Jarvis. All still waiting.
And which, by the way, if you haven't heard the news, the Canes are placing Evgeny Kuznetsov on unconditional waivers with the designation of terminating his contract. They announced that 45 minutes ago.
Yep, so no more Birdman. But what do you think, what are your realistic expectations for next year with what we have right now?
I think it's realistic that they finish probably third in the Metro Division and make the playoffs. That's realistic. I still think they're better than the New York Islanders, who finished third in the Metro last year. Washington has made a bunch of moves, but I don't know how much better they've gotten because a lot of their star players are just long in the tooth. I mean, there's still about questions about if TJ Oshie's going to be able to play this season. Nick Backstrom, who missed basically all last year, don't know if he's going to be able to play. Ovechkin, yeah, he can still score, but he's getting older. John Carlson, Tom Wilson, those guys are all gotten old. Real old. There's not a whole lot coming after that. Philadelphia, I think, is a team to kind of watch out for a little bit. They've got a couple young guys that have come in. And I think New Jersey is actually one to keep an eye on as well because they were just beat last year. Just beat up. And they added Brett Pesce and Stefan Nason, former Canes.
That one hurt.
So I think they're just based off of sheer health, they're going to be better. Rangers are still going to be number one. They really didn't lose a whole lot. I mean, they're going to be right there in the thick of it. It's not going to be easy, but they're a playoff team. They're a playoff team still. I don't know if they're a cup contender, but if you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. Just got to get in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're a playoff team in my mind.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm here for it. If that happens, I'm here for it all day. So, in your opinion, seeing the players that have gone, considering we've just officially seen that Kuzi is going to be gone for next season, which player out of all that have left this offseason do you think is going to be the biggest hit for the Canes?
Oh, the biggest miss? Like who's going to be missed the most?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's tough because so many good ones left.
Because I'm also thinking about who's replacing. Like, for example, like Brady Shea and Brett Pesce, it stinks that those guys left. But the Shane Gostisbehere and Sean Walker signings alleviate that pain. Stefan Nason, I love Stefan Nason, but you bring in guys like William Carrier and Jack Roslovic and some of those other guys that you brought in to kind of fill that void. I mean, honestly, it's got to be Jake Gensel because he was a bona fide scorer in your top six or on that top line. He's the best winger that Sebastian Aho has played with. That's your big miss because I can only imagine what this lineup will look like if he was still here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Jake Gensel. That's the one because even if you took away the assists that he scored in the regular season games, he played 17 regular season games. I'm sorry, if you take away the goals he just scored, he still had 17 assists. He had 8 goals and 17 assists. Take away goals and he was a point-per-game player for the Carolina Hurricanes in the regular season. He had 25 points in 17 regular season games. He's basically a point-per-game player in the playoffs as well. That's the one that you're going to miss.
Yeah, he was big. So with all these adjustments, we have a new GM, Eric Tulsky.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of these players, they had contract issues. A lot of contracts were up at the same time. But do you think because we have a new GM that has anything to do with maybe, quote, starting fresh with our roster?
I don't think so because with the new GM, with Tulsky, I mean, he was part of the decision-making group with Dom Waddell and Tom Dundon and Darren York. Here's something that the Carolina Hurricanes do. I know a lot of people, we see the title of GM and we think that he's the one making all the decisions. The Carolina Hurricanes make their decisions as a group. So it's not just Tulsky. It's Tulsky. It's the owner, Tom Dundon. It's the GM, Darren York. I'm sure Rob Brindamore, the head coach, has some input on things as well. It's a group decision. And I think this was kind of something that was understood going into this offseason is that the roster they put together, they knew there was going to be turnover and change. They just knew it because you knew Seth Jarvis was going to get a pay bump. You knew Jack Drury was going to get a pay bump. You probably weren't going to be able to afford to keep Brady Shea and Brett Pesce. Like, you just couldn't afford everybody. You just knew it was going to happen. Every single Carolina Hurricanes player that signed somewhere else got a bump in pay. I think the only one that maybe didn't was Teuvo Teravainen, who's making the same $5.4 million. Like, that's it. Everyone else got a pay increase, and some of it quite significant. Quite significant. Stefan Nason was making $775,000. He signed for $2.75 million. Brett Pesce was making just over $4 million. He's making $5.5 million. Brady Shea got a massive pay bump by nearly $2 million. Like, you just couldn't afford to keep it, and I think the team knew that. I think this is kind of that transition year where the Canes, they know they have a ton of young prospects in their system, and I think we're going to start to see them tap into that pool here soon.
All right, and last up, this is all about the Canes today.
All right, all Canes.
Martin Necas, if he actually does stay with the Canes, you know, him and his dad really want to see him be in the center role.
Mm-hmm.
Rod doesn't really seem to feel that way. However, if he stays, do you see Rod giving him maybe like the preseason, saying, okay, here's your shot, see what you can do with what we have, and go from there?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Hey, we're going to play you in 3 preseason games.
Right.
Or 4. You're going to play center. You're going to play go do it. Like, do it now. Like, if you want to prove it, here's your chance.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is.
If you want to do it, go do it. Go show it. It's basically, like you said, put your money where your mouth is. You said it 2 years ago that you felt like you could be a center. You're hearing it this offseason from former teammates and from your dad that you should be a center, that you want to be a center. That's where you want to play. Go prove it now. We'll start you in the preseason, play center. And if you can do it, great. We'll keep you there. But you better dig in and do it. Because if you slack off defensively, there's a lot of defensive lapses that took place in the playoffs, which a lot of them could be directly attributed to Martin Necas. Like, if you can't be responsible defensively as a winger, you can't do it as a center in Rob Brendamore's system. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, in the preseason, all right, man, here's your chance. Go be that. It's going to be an interesting season this year for the Carolina Hurricanes. I cannot wait. Speaking of the Carolina Hurricanes, we're going to dive more into the Evgeny Kuznetsov news coming up on the Adam Gold Show.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
As we continue to get more and more behind-the-scenes info on how the trades happened this offseason for the Panthers, it becomes more and more obvious they may have gotten swindled in the Brian Burns trade, which is a problem when you consider he was their biggest trade asset that they could turn into value. So if the Giants got the best of them, it's going to be all about finding a way to get it back.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
It's hot out there, and your inefficient windows mean high utility bills all year long. Window Nation sells some of the most energy-efficient windows you can buy and was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 windows free, plus 0 down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule an in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
New $80 million cash blowout and triple red 7s mean new winners. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds winning range from 1 in 4.28 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
It's Lee Come Key.
Welcome back to the Lee Come Key request line. Ready for something with a kick that's still smooth? Talk about a hot time at dinner time.
Crisscross.
This is America's #1 spicy mayo and non-GMO verified sriracha. It's the Sriracha Slide coming at you from Lee Come Key.
Turn it out.
Sriracha Slide on over to srirachalove.com to check it out.
Sriracha real smooth.
Donnelly here for Zero Res. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified. That's carpets clean as they could possibly be. Starting at just $109 and get a free hallway done on top of that. Just call now at ZeroResRaleigh.com or 919-995-0000.
Sunday nights will be a blast with Major League Baseball.
The 3-2 is hit in the air left field. That one way back. And you can't forget it.
Every long ball, every called strike 3, every walk-off will be heard here.
Fly ball, center field, deep and gone.
Sunday Night Baseball on 99.9 The Fan is presented by Newcomb & Company, Mountain Dew, and by Buffalo Brothers. This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Whether he is here or it needs to be someone else, there's a effort that needs to be made in terms of acquiring more goal scoring one way or the other. All of those players that you referenced that went out the door, they were not only an integral part of the power play, which, yes, will have to be addressed, but also just goal scoring at 5-on-5. I think the defense is going to be, just quite all right with the additions of Sean Walker and bringing Shane Gostisbehere back in, but where is the goal scoring coming from? That is my question as we stand here on this July 14th, 15th, whatever day it may be in the middle of summer.
That voice you just heard was CarolinaHurricanes.com reporter, Hurricanes.com, Walt Ruff. Talking about Carolina Hurricanes and some changes that have happened this offseason and where some of that goal scoring is going to come from. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always. And that kind of gets into really the news of the day, which is the Carolina Hurricanes announced earlier today, about noon. So not that long ago, noon today, Walt Ruff himself actually posted on X that the Carolina Hurricanes are placing Evgeny Kuznetsov on unconditional waivers for the purpose of contract termination. It was reported a couple days ago that Evgeny Kuznetsov had agreed to a 4-year contract with SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL. The KHL is a professional hockey league mostly based in Eastern Europe, mostly based in Russia. I think there are a couple of teams that maybe play in the Czech Republic or in Belarus. But nonetheless, it's a Russian-based professional hockey league. And it's the biggest one in Europe. Kuznetsov's Russian. He wants to go home and play the last few years of his career at home, be a star, still get paid really well. That's fine. That's his choice. That's what he wants to do. That's okay. In order for that to happen, they had to have a contract termination, which means it's different than a buyout. A buyout means the Carolina Hurricanes are going to say, hey, look, we're going to pay you, depending on years of service in the NHL, basically we're going to pay you 2/3 of your salary. That's owed to you, and then you can be a free agent. And then there's a salary cap hit and things along those lines that kind of go with it. But in terms of contract termination, hey, look, you're not going to get paid, but you can't sign with another. There's probably conditions in there where you can't sign with an NHL team at some point during this season. That's probably part of the terms of the contract termination. I'm not sure precisely how that works, but nonetheless, Evgeny Kuznetsov is not going to be a Carolina Hurricane anymore. And he was brought in at the trade deadline to help this team. Scored 4 goals in the playoffs for Carolina. A couple of really memorable moments. I think a lot of people remember the penalty shot against the New York Islanders that took 17 seconds or whatever it was. The slow play. Skates all the way up from one end of the ice, gets the puck at center ice, and then just comes to a screeching halt and just barely moving forward up the ice, and then scores. And I had a lot of people ticked off, like, oh, you're going so slow. No, you're going to be mad because he scored. But nonetheless, Evgeny Kuznetsov is not going to be with the Carolina Hurricanes moving forward. All right, so upside, downside to that. Let's start with the downside of that first, Victoria. Downside of that is you're losing a really good player. Now, there are a lot of, you kind of heard Walt Ruff say, there's sometimes there are defensive lapses. That's was a big thing with Kuznetsov. Like, he never was a great defensive player in his career, even in Washington. Stellar offensive player, especially, go back to the year they won the Stanley Cup in Washington in 2018. Guy was putting up 70-plus points. He's done that multiple years in his NHL career. He actually led the Washington Capitals in points in the postseason when they won the Cup in 2018. Wasn't Alex Ovechkin, wasn't Nicholas Backstrom. It was Evgeny Kuznetsov. He was the one. It wasn't TJ Oshie. It was Kuznetsov. So defensively, he was a liability at times. But you are missing a guy who, in the locker room, had experience of winning a cup, clearly expressed how grateful he was to be in Carolina and the opportunity to play in the NHL again. Clearly expressed that, and it showed. And I think he was also probably good in the locker room for guys like Pyotr Kochetkov, Andrei Svechnikov, Dmitry Orlov. Dmitry Orlov was a longtime teammate of Evgeny Kuznetsov in Washington. But I'm sure it was instrumental for those young players in terms of Svechnikov and Kochetkov. Young Russians who looked up to that guy. When there were young Russians living back home before they even got to the NHL, saw Kuznetsov be great in Washington alongside of Alex Ovechkin. So that's the downside. You're missing a good player. For a team that has already lost so much, I mean, I had Evgeny Kuznetsov penciled in as the second-line center, Victoria, going into this year. That was where I had him.
I was excited to see him for a full season.
As was I, because when he came in, a lot of people have to maybe fully understand the backstory on this. When Kuznetsov came to Washington, or came from Washington to Carolina at the trade deadline, he had just come off of the NHL's player assistance program. Player assistance program in the NHL is for players who are dealing with like substance abuse issues. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, or both, whatever it might be, but players that are dealing with substance abuse. So he was in that program for several weeks. So he wasn't playing hockey, was away from the team. When he comes back, they sent him down to Hershey, Pennsylvania. The Hershey Bears is the minor league, the AHL affiliate of the Washington Capitals. They sent him down to Hershey. And then it's interestingly enough, Hershey was in Charlotte to play the Charlotte Checkers. And then he got the call that, hey, you're being traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. So he basically went from Charlotte to Raleigh to join the team. So he joined the team having not played in a while, learning a new system. So it's like, all right, haven't played in a bit, so they had the rust, and then also just the physical demands of skating in Rob Brind'Amour's system, with the system that the Carolina Hurricanes have. There was the adjustment to that as well, which takes guys time as is. I was looking forward to seeing, like, okay, a full off season of training, understanding what the system is, understanding what the expectations are. I was with you, Victoria. I was like, all right, maybe we'll see a little uptick. Maybe not to be the 70-point guy that we saw in Washington.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that player anymore.
No, but he came through when it mattered.
He came through at different times when it mattered. Again, 4 goals in the playoffs. Like, maybe if he just is somewhat adequate on defense, he can help on a power play and do all those kinds of things. So that's the downside. You're missing that player.
Yeah.
But there is an upside to this. His cap hit for his contract is $7.8 million. When he got traded from Washington, Washington said, we'll keep half that. We'll keep half. Washington said, we'll keep half. We'll give you Kuznetsov, and we'll keep half his salary, and they got a third-round pick in return. It's like, all right, cool. So Carolina, hey, we're getting a player with an extra year on his contract, so we'll have with term, as they like to say, guy that can help us now and help us next year, and we don't have to have the full $7.8 million cap hit, and we have to have $3.9 million. Cool, bet, awesome. We'll roll with this. That $3.9 million now comes available to you. That's now available to you. The Carolina Hurricanes will now have about roughly $16 million in cap space. Roughly-ish. Some guys might get sent down to Chicago or the AHL, which could clear up, like $1 million here or there. That $3.9 million is going to go a long way to making sure that you get the deals that you want done with restricted free agents like Seth Jarvis, Jack Drury, and Martin Necas. I know Adam talked about this yesterday. Basically, you can take that $3.9 million and you can allocate it to those three guys. That $3.9 million can go a long way to ensuring that you can do an 8-year contract with Seth Jarvis, a long-term deal. In the NHL, for players on your own team, when it comes to contract extensions, the maximum length you can have is 8 years. Seth Jarvis can sign an 8-year contract right now. Sign him in an 8-year contract right now at, let's say, $8 million a year. Or the same contract that Andrei Svechnikov has, $7.75. Because you know that this coming weekend with Jack Drury and Martin Necas is when arbitration starts. If you do not work out a contract with Jack Drury and Martin Necas by then, you have to go to arbitration. And you're at the mercy of a third-party arbiter to decide what those guys' contracts are going to be for this coming year, as opposed to having control in your own hands. But if you're able to work those deals out with those guys now and not to worry about go to arbitration, and then you can actually sign Seth Jarvis to a long-term deal now and not have to worry about, well, let's actually do what they call a bridge deal. Like, we're just going to sign it to like 3 years, and then we can, we'll renegotiate in 3 years. You don't want to do that with Seth Jarvis because it's only going to cost you more in the long term. If you can get 8 years done now with Seth Jarvis because of Evgeny Kuznetsov is gone, okay deal. Okay deal. I'm okay with that. Yes, the downside, you lose a good player. Upside is you got that money that you now can allocate to those 3 young core guys on your roster in Drury, Necas, and Jarvis to make sure you get the deals done with them now that you want to get done. And not have to shortchange anybody or sacrifice now. Like, okay, we can be a little cheaper this year, but it's only going to cost you more down the road. I liked Kuznetsov. I was a fan of his.
Yeah.
I really liked him. I thought the Canes fans really embraced him too.
Oh, yeah. And Rod, he really liked him. He believed in him to bring him on. So I liked him.
I'm gonna miss Kuzi. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna miss that guy. But you know what? Evgeny Kuznetsov, thank you.
Yeah.
You weren't here for very long, but we enjoyed it.
Yes, and best wishes.
We enjoyed it. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. ACC Media Days are next week. Starting on Monday, the Commissioner Jim Phillips talks. Adam is going to be down in Charlotte on Wednesday and Thursday next week. That's when a lot of the schools here in the state of North Carolina are going to be present down there. I believe in 1 week from today, Duke and Wake Forest are going to be talking to the media. And then the day after that, Thursday, it's State, it's Carolina. I think Clemson's also going to be down there as well. So a lot of the big schools here in the state of North Carolina, or all of them, I should say, are going to be down at ACC Media Days next week. So Adam is going to be down there. But conversation around the ACC, and a lot of it's going to be taking place down there, are going to be about Florida State and Clemson. And one of those coaches talks about how there's some unintended consequences when it comes to college football expansion and CFP expansion. We'll have that coming up.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Move your sports day forward.
This is not summer vacation. If you're out there reading as much as you possibly can about hockey and the Carolina Hurricanes and whatnot, this and the NHL, this is not summer vacation. There are teams that are having to put their cases together right now to figure out how much they can re-sign players. There are still free agents out there being re-signed.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, contact lens wearers, are you tired of wasting time and money every day putting contacts in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses? Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK can change your life. About 5 minutes per eye, you could go back to work the very next day. 2 years, 0 interest financing is available, and $1,000 off is available. 919-510-6830, 919-510-6830. Make the call. You can go online, traverslasik.com.
Are you struggling to get a good night's sleep? Look no further than Parkway Sleep. For 20 years, we have been your locally owned and operated sleep center.
I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Did you know that people are waiting a staggering 6 to 8 months for a sleep study at other sleep labs? At Parkway, we understand the importance of your sleep needs. That's why we offer openings within weeks, not months, saving you time.
Don't let sleepless nights take over your life. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hot summer days mean time on the water. Let Sound Station and Security make your time even better with our custom boat options. At Sound Station and Security, our Raleigh marine experts can help you for everything with your boat, from the perfect audio system to lights to video. We do it all custom, and we do it all from scratch. You're unique. Your boat should be too. Make sure everyone knows where the best party is this summer on the lake with Sound Station and Security. With 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does it make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
So next week, there are going to be a lot of conversations about conference realignment, college football playoff expansion at ACC Media Days in Charlotte. And I'm excited to see what coach speak answer we're going to get. I'm actually excited to see. I'm actually curious to see who's actually going to be truly open and honest about some of these conversations that we're having, because I think a lot of people, including us, whether it's us here in the media talking, you at home listening, or you in your car, wherever you might be listening, at work, whatever it is, the people that are the coaches, the people in the sport, no one really knows what the future of college football is actually going to, or just college athletics as a whole is really going to look like. We actually saw that, basically the feds, when it comes to college football or just college sports, when it comes to potentially paying players, the schools directly said, you still got to follow Title IX rules. You still got to follow it because being part of financial aid and all that kind of stuff, like that has to be divvied up evenly when it comes to college athletics and scholarships. Well, if you're paying players, that also must be divvied up equally, Title IX as well. Okay, so that brings in a whole different mess of, or just a whole different group of questions in terms of, okay, well, are you going to start scaling back programs even further? Like, what? There's so much uncertainty. But one of the things I know that we're going to have a conversation about for schools like Clemson, for schools like State, Carolina, with the expanded college football playoff, there's more chance for you now to get in. There's more chance for you to get into the college football playoff. I know a lot of Florida State fans and ACC fans were upset that Florida State got left out of the college football playoff last year. I'm 100% with you. They got screwed.
Right.
They got screwed. 100%.
Oh, yeah. They should have been there.
And it's not because the ACC, it's not because, well, the ACC was better. Like, that's not it. Like, they did everything they were supposed to do, and they won all the games they were supposed to. It was a bunch of cowards that made the decision, didn't have the onions to actually do what was right.
Yeah, because if you took their name off and just had it blank, they would have been picked 100 times over.
Exactly. But it's also, the reason why they got left out was because Jordan Travis, their quarterback, got hurt.
Right.
And they knew he was going to be out. They even said that.
Yeah, well, that's
like,
what some
factored
people's
into the decision.
Excuses they're only coming in with, without their main guy, so they're not going to be as entertaining.
And or as good or as competitive. Like, I don't care. They earned it in the regular season, but like as opposed to saying, well, you actually beat one of the top 15 teams that you had in your rankings without their starting quarterback. I'm like, that actually tells you how good they are.
Logic.
But that's a different conversation for another time. Bunch of cowards made that decision. It's not because the ACC wasn't good. Cowards left them out. But because the college football playoff is expanding, if it was 12 teams like it's going to be this coming year, Florida State would have been in it. Remember, Florida State was number 5 in the CFP rankings. Dabo Swinney, the head coach of the Clemson Tigers, actually did talk about there's maybe some unintended consequences when it comes to college football playoff expansion.
You'll probably see some guys, if you're 4-4 and probably out of the playoffs, probably see some guys head off to Arizona and train. It's probably an unintended consequence. You'll probably see some situations where, like you see in the NFL, the Ravens are in the playoffs. They got it locked up, right? They got the bye or whatever, and, well, they got one more game that really means nothing, right? Because it's all about the playoffs. So do you play Lamar in that game? And that's probably an unintended consequence in college, from a tradition standpoint is, maybe you're 11-0 and you got that rivalry game. But, you play your biggest foe next week in the conference championship. And if you win that game, you're going to get a bye, so those are things that are probably decisions you'll see play out all throughout college football.
I haven't thought about it in that sense, Victoria, in terms of like, hey, you know what? We pretty much got, we're going to be in the conference championship game. We kind of got things locked up. Maybe we'll rest players for the CFP. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work. He talks about, if your team's 4-4, you might just see guys leave and go train in Arizona. There are a lot of guys that in preparation for the NFL draft and the NFL combine. One of the big training areas is out in Arizona, where guys you'll work on for the 40 times and all those kinds of things you get tested with at the combine, at your pro days and all those things. Honestly, I think that would have been happening anyway, even before college football playoff expansion. If your team was 4-4, like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and back out and get ready for my pro career. We've actually seen it actually happen in the NBA before. We actually remember, some people might remember the name Jalen Johnson. played for Duke basketball, was one of the highest rated recruits coming in, played during like the COVID season, 2020, 2021. Ended up leaving Duke early that year. It's kind of nicked up, I think, if I remember correctly, but he left Duke early that year and still was like a lottery pick and is playing in the NBA. I think he's playing for the Atlanta Hawks, if I remember correctly, and he's doing fine. So we've seen that before. I don't know if we're going to have that in college football. I think the more likely scenario that you would potentially see, like we saw with NC State this past year, where we saw their running back, Jordan Houston, 3 games into the year say, you know what? I want to transfer somewhere else after this year. I'm going to preserve this year of eligibility and not play any further. So he played in less than 4 games, decided to transfer. We saw with MJ Morris, the quarterback who came in for Brennan Armstrong, started 4 games. NC State went 3-1. He said, you know what? I want to keep my year of eligibility. I want to keep my red shirt, so I'm not going to play more than these 4 games. Sure enough, he ends up transferring and decides not to play. That, to me, is a little bit more likely than what the scenario that Dabo talked about. But I haven't thought about a team like, hey, you know what? We're 11-0 going into a final game of the season. We already know that we're going to be going to a conference championship game. Maybe do I rest my guys for the conference championship game or rest a few guys? That's up to every coach.
Yeah, whatever they feel
like
comfortable
that.
with.
That's your decision as a coach. Like, hey, guys, let's get ready. I mean, again, that's up to a coach. I don't see that happening really too often. I really don't. We see it in the NFL sometimes where it's like, hey, you know what? We know where, let's say we've got the 3rd seed in the AFC locked up and we got to play that game and, next week. This game, last game of the regular season, is meaningless to us. Okay, we're going to rest our starting quarterback and a couple guys that are nicked up, whatever it might be. Okay, yeah, you see that in the NFL. I don't know if we're going to see that as much in college football just because you still have to rely on a group of people to decide where you're going to be ranked in the CFP. Like in the standings, it still comes down to a group of people. So I don't know if we're going to see that often. But I want to ask Dabo about that next week.
You should.
Remind me, Victoria, to ask Dabo Sweeney about that next week.
He's fun to be around.
I'm not going to lie. When Dabo shows up, you know.
It's a party.
Oh, when Dabo showed, you were there a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When Dabo shows up, you know.
I know. Everybody's like, wait, what's going on over here? Oh, that's just Dabo Sweeney.
Oh, yeah. Our friends from the Sports Shop, which is actually heard here mornings in Raleigh from 7 to 9, since Dabo's from Alabama, and Errol Reese, who hosts the Sports Shop, or one of the co-hosts of the Sports Shop, also is from Alabama.
Yeah.
Man, when those two get together, you don't even have to see it, you just hear it.
Yeah,
when those two get together, everyone's like, what is happening over here? Heads turn the whole bit. Shout out to Errol Reese. Errol Reese is my guy.
Good times.
Errol Reese is my guy. Another thing that's going to get brought up often, Jim Phillips is going to be asked about it.
Oh, yeah.
The whole college football conference realignment, conference expansion, honestly, I look at it more like conference consolidation because you have 5 power conferences. Now you're down to 4. That's consolidation. That's not expansion. That's consolidation. And I'm wondering, Brett Yormark said this last week at Big 12 Media Days when it comes to their media rights, because they're exploring every avenue to try and make extra money for their league. Their media day out in Las Vegas was sponsored by Totino's. That's right, the pizza rolls, right? Who doesn't love pizza rolls?
Just be careful, they're on fire.
Well, it's either that or they're frozen. It's one or the other.
It's no in between.
Exactly. It went like literally bite into it, frozen lava.
Yeah.
But they're trying to explore every way to make money. They're talking about selling the naming rights to the Big 12 Conference and all these different things. Whatever way they can add revenue, which, you know what? I'm okay with you exploring all that. I have zero problem with it. Might be some crazy ideas, but you know what? Good ideas sometimes evolve from the crazy ones. And one thing he talked about doing was when conferences sell their media rights. So, like, for example, when the ACC has the deal with Disney, so that's, ESPN, ABC, and all that. It's for all of their sports. It's for football, basketball, men's and women's, baseball, lacrosse, the whole deal. So it's all bundled together. Big 12 is talking about, well, what if we unbundle? It's like, what if we sell football separately, and then we can sell everything else packaged together on another platform? Let's say, for example, hey, Big 12 sports in terms of basketball and baseball and all these other things are going to be with ESPN. But then we can take our football and we can go to Turner, because Turner doesn't have the NBA anymore moving forward. Hey, let's go to Turner. Turner wants live programming. Turner's very big. In the past, has had NBA. They're obviously very big in the professional wrestling scene. They want something live. Maybe we can split. Maybe we can go to Turner or another platform. Like we can branch things off and break things up. Unbundle is how we described it. And I remember when we had Chip Patterson on last week. I know I was phoning in for you, Victoria, and he heard that as a possibility of a way to, like, well, who's to say that's not a way to separate football from the NCAA?
Yeah.
And, like, truly separate things differently. Because here's how I kind of viewed it. If the Big 12 is eventually able to separate football from its media rights, from its other sports, when the SEC and Big 10 have their media rights coming up at roughly the same time, who's to say they don't separate as well? And let's say ACC and Disney, they get together and say, hey, let's separate as well. Like, let's unbundle, lack of a better term. If the four major power conferences, quote unquote, unbundle football away, then maybe you can go to media groups kind of like the NFL does and sell a package to Fox and CBS or Turner or whomever, Disney, ESPN, as a group. Like basically the Power Four conferences, those schools break their football away from everything else media-wise, and then they can sell it together, and then they can kind of break away from the NCAA that way. Maybe that's like part of the avenue of getting there. I'm spitballing a little bit here, but guess what? No one knows what it's going to look like in the future anyway, so my idea is as bad or as good as anybody's, the way I view it.
We have no
but
clue.
maybe that's the route. Hey, if we separate, because then we can say, hey, football is generating X amount of dollars of revenue for us. That way we can say, we can designate those players as employees, not have them be considered student athletes anymore. We can break it away. That way we can say when it comes to paying, it's a revenue share. That way we can share that revenue directly with our football players. And then when it comes to all of our other sports that we'll still consider amateur, collegiate, student athletes, all that, blah, 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 that is its own separate bundle that's sold somewhere else. Then that revenue can be shared with those athletes. I'm wondering if that's a way to kind of work around it.
Maybe.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I could be completely wrong on that one. But it had me thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the step that it's going to take to get there. Who knows? Who knows? A lot of people are hell-bent on, we'll dive into this more about 2:15 today, about the ACC is like, I don't know why. People want it to be implode on itself, and I don't get why.
I know.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
College sports is fun, and having these conferences are fun. I don't know.
I don't get it. But I'm wondering if that is going to be something that we see possibly happening. Again, this is years down the road. I'm talking 2030 type deal. Because Fox and CBS and all that, they're locked up with the Big Ten through, I think, over the next 6 or 7 years. They're kind of locked into that. They probably don't want to give that up right now. But if the big brands of college football want to break away from the NCAA, that might be the way to do it. Just a thought running through my head. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show. As always, Victoria, did you know that we are 50 days away from the first NFL game?
Wow.
50?
I'm ready.
Ravens at Chiefs, Thursday Night Football.
I'm so ready.
50 days away. Now, I know on the Adam Gold Show, you sometimes do a top 5, bottom 5.
Yeah.
Let's do our bottom 5 headlines for the NFL season.
Let's do it.
Our bottom 5 headlines. Victoria, do you have your 5?
I do have some.
Go ahead and give me one of your bottom 5 headlines for the NFL season.
Okay. So bottom, I looked at this as we've heard this enough, and it's just eye roll moment.
Just like, you know what? Tired of it. Done with it already.
What is Aaron Rodgers up to now?
God, that was number one on my list. Just New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, done with it.
I just don't care.
Done.
I just don't care.
Do not care.
No, and
Go
it's not
home.
even football related. Like, this is still, even if he's on the field, like, what kind of ayahuasca is he drinking now?
God, all of it go away. Now it's like the conversation is, well, is Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Is he going to get traded to the Jets now? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All of it can go away.
I know.
What else do you have? Because we have basically the same one. What's the next
okay.
one
So my second one, will Tom Brady come out of retirement?
Oh. This is actually one of the ones on my list of bottom 5. Tom Brady in the broadcast booth, like an evaluation of him in the broadcast booth. Like I don't tune in to watch an NFL game because of the commentators.
Yeah.
I really don't. Now, the commentators sometimes can like take away from the game experience, but you know what? There are alternative methods. Like, for example, if I don't like whomever the broadcasters are for the Carolina Panthers games, I'll throw on an Eastroff in the Panthers radio network. I'll just turn that on with it. There's different ways where you can sync it up. That's fine. I'll do that instead. If I want that, I'll go with that. But yeah, Tom Brady in the broadcast booth is also actually on my list.
Oh, nice.
That's another one on my list. Another one is Dak Prescott franchise quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh my, okay. My third one is Dak worth his salary?
Is Dak worth? Yes. I feel like we've had this conversation for the last 17 seasons.
I know.
I know it's only been for the last like 5 or 6, but it's the same conversation every single. Is Dak a franchise guy? Is he worth this much money? He shouldn't get a contract. Go away.
Yeah.
Go away. Because now it's all like, well, you got to pay CeeDee Lamb. They got to pay Dak. Well, is Dak worth? Stop it.
Yeah. We don't need this. We don't need this.
My other one, or another one here, one of my bottom 5 NFL headlines going into the season.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud. Panthers could have had him.
Yeah.
The Panthers could have had him.
Yep.
Either one of those guys. Oh, but Panthers could have had him.
See, if I was making a top one, I'd thought about that too, but I was thinking it in reverse. My top one would be, maybe the Panthers did get it right with Bryce and not CJ.
I would be okay with that.
I would love that.
I would be okay with that. But the bottom 5 is like,
Yes.
the Panthers could have had that guy.
Right, exactly.
Panthers could have had that guy.
Yeah. I have a fourth one too where it's also QB related. Why is Brock Purdy overrated? Because I love Brock Purdy. I don't think he's overrated, but everybody gives him so much grief.
Basically, is he a franchise QB?
Exactly. So, yeah. Game manager, not whatever. I love Brock Purdy.
Last one for me is, do you have one more?
I do.
Okay, give me your last one here.
You know my last one's going to be Panther related.
Of course it's going to be.
The Carolina Panthers aren't winning, but neither is David Tepper. How is he making headlines again? See, I just feel like he's going to do something else to make the headlines where if we're not winning,
David Tepper.
He's going to go to another restaurant. He's going to say another thing.
Gross.
Yeah.
My final one is actually, will Patrick Mahomes surpass Tom Brady?
Ah, yeah.
That's another one. Will Patrick Mahomes surpass Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Because we're there.
We're
there. I'm already tired of it.
I know.
Already tired of it.
I know.
So the headlines that I'm already tired of, Victoria, recap yours here in a second. One, my 5, just in no random order. New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, anything related to that, already over it. Sick of it. Done. Is Dak Prescott franchise QB for Dallas? Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud. Panthers could have had one of those guys. Tom Brady in the broadcast booth. Do not care about it.
Yeah.
I really, honestly don't.
Especially when you had Greg Olsen, okay?
Greg was so great.
Greg is amazing,
So
and I know I'm biased as a Panthers fan, but he was amazing.
He was honestly, he was objectively is great.
Very good.
Objectively is great at it.
He broke everything down for you to understand what was going on the field, like what was happening. I don't know, but they got to get Brady.
And then my final one here is Patrick Mahomes going to surpass Tom Brady?
Yeah. So there's always Mahomes.
Talk to me in 10 years.
I know, right?
Talk to me in 10 years.
Hey, you could have also went with Brittany Mahomes, too. Like, anything related with Brittany Mahomes. Like, let's not have her in headline, please.
Gosh. I mean, there's a few that are honorable mentions on there. Like, is Daniel Jones a franchise QB? No.
Yes.
Stop.
Oh, man, there's so many other good ones, too, because we could have had Tay-Tay in there with Kelsey. Like, when will Travis Kelsey propose to Taylor Swift at a football game? That's one. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. That's another one. If we had a top 6, that's my 6.
That's really well, recap your top 5 here, though.
Okay. Well, we'll start with that one. When is Travis Kelsey going to propose to Taylor Swift at a football game?
That would actually be kind of wild.
I know. Well, everyone thought they'd do it at the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. So the ones that I had before, what's Aaron Rodgers up to now? My second one, will Tom Brady come out of retirement? No. But I don't know, maybe. I don't want to say no. He does like avocado ice cream. Is Dak Prescott worth his salary? Why Brock Purdy is overrated. He's not overrated. He's great. And then the Panthers aren't winning, but neither is David Tepper, and here's why. Let's hope that one does not happen, please and thank you. This is all stuff we don't want to see. So, yeah, please.
I'll be all for all that.
Please.
I'd be for all those headlines not being headlines.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's already happening.
Right. Well, and a lot of the stuff that we talked about, too, has already been said, and it's already been done. So we're just regurgitating all the same things.
We're already getting beaten over the head with it. We've beaten over the head with it all summer, and it's only going to ramp up when teams report to training camp. We're just...
Yep.
There's a 2x4 across the face.
It's deja vu.
Then as soon as you wake back up, back across the other side of your face. God.
Yeah.
I love the NFL. I really do. I love football. I really do. But sometimes, like, all right, we're just getting a little ridiculous here, folks.
Oh, yeah. Same.
We're just a little over the top.
Same.
Hey, media, let's do better.
There's other things.
Exactly. Especially like national media. There's more out there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always. It's that time of the show. Coming up, we stretch, we place bets coming up.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power. Whether you're home or away, power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The new Bluebell Cookies and Cream Cheesecake is cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Again, cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie-crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream-filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
The North Carolina Zoo is celebrating 50 wild years in 2024. Voted top zoo in the nation, the North Carolina Zoo is centrally located in Asheboro. Bring your family for a day trip or a weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, a herd of elephants, a crash of rhinos, and a flock of seabirds. Plus, ride an endangered species carousel and stroll through the exotic butterfly garden. Plan your next outdoor adventure at nczoo.org.
NC Medicaid is healthcare coverage for more North Carolinians. Just go to medicaid.nc.gov and fill out the needed information. Or call our Medicaid Contact Center. You can put pen to paper and fill out an application. And email, mail, or drop it off at your local Department of Social Services. And you can work with a navigator like Marvell at your local library. Don't wait, you can apply at any time and get covered starting the date of your application.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? Next time you see a man or woman in uniform, why not stop and thank them for their service to our country? And what about the nurse at the hospital or the cafeteria worker serving your plate? A smile and a word of thanks goes a long way. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind to everybody. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
So I'm sure when we place our bets here in just a moment, there has to be something British Open related, right? Because the Open Championship starts tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure Adam Gold's already sitting in front of his TV waiting for it. I think it's the reason why he's not here today, Victoria.
Probably,
He might be watching practice rounds. I'm not entirely sure.
He could be.
But I know he's all in on Rory.
Always.
I know he's all in on Rory.
He's always in on Rory.
We'll play some bets and stuff here coming up. But until then, we got to stretch.
Oh, yes. And while stretching, we might be thinking about lunch.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. I'm all in on lunch. My lunch today was a slice of cake.
Oh, yes. That was breakfast. Yes. We had cake here. So today is National Hot Dog Day.
Oh, that's today?
It is.
I'm going home and cooking up an 8-pack of hot dogs.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes, it's National Hot Dog Day. I'm assuming, I wonder if Snoopy's or somewhere like that is doing something, here locally, if they're doing anything. But I know that Ballpark is definitely doing something. So they're doing a little thing to help you make a little extra money. But one thing that they pointed out was that they showed that most people typically like mustard on their hot dogs. Now, what's your go-to?
I like ketchup and mustard on my hot dog.
Okay, both. See, then you're 1 and 2 because they say 73% of Americans go mustard. Not so much for me. I could do ketchup, but I'm also a weirdo who likes Chicago dogs. Like, those are delicious.
Okay.
It's just a combination.
For those who don't know what's on a Chicago dog, tell people.
Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of stuff. So you got to have a poppy seed bun. You've got to have these special peppers. You got to have a slice of tomato. You got to have the relish. You got to have the celery salt on top of it. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. And it's got to be a Nathan's hot dog. I mean, there's and it's got mustard too, but you've got to have a very specific kind of mustard.
Very specific. Yes. I know a lot of people do like chili dogs. A lot of people will do they'll put maybe like mustard, onions, chili, and cheese on their hot dogs. I mean, I love hot dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, I can easily do something like that. I have no problem with that. I've done it where it's just ketchup or just mustard or ketchup and mustard. I don't do relish.
Yeah.
Not a relish person.
Yeah,
I
that's
hate,
okay.
I hate pickles and stuff. So
Oh, well, then, yeah, you wouldn't like relish. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Have you had, like, the Carolina-style hot dog where there's, like, coleslaw and chili and all that stuff on it?
I usually do it without coleslaw. I don't like things mayonnaise-based.
Oh,
so
okay,
that's why
well,
I don't
see,
do
yeah, that would
coleslaw.
mark it out.
So I don't like things mayonnaise. I hate mayonnaise.
Well, Ballpark wants to, quote, celebrate your freedom of expression when it comes to stuff on top of a hot dog on National Hot Dog Day. So what they're doing is they want you to post your specific unique hot dog toppings on their page for your chance to win about $2,500.
Let's
go.
go.
Right? I know you can make a little extra money on National Hot Dog Day. Post a picture of your hot dog with all of its condiments on it, and then you use hashtag. Let me find this hashtag. Hot dog hot takes. Yes.
Hot dog hot takes.
Hashtag hot dog hot takes. And you can add Ballpark brand. And the videos need to be about 60 seconds or less. And then the contest is running through the 17th. So you have a month to actually do this. But today kicks it off. So there you go. If you put crazy stuff on there, yeah. Now we won't even get into whether it's a sandwich or not.
Oh no, God, no! Just stop. We'll stop right there. That's on our top 5 headlines we don't want to see. This
Exactly.
Year. Bottom 5 headlines.
Well, Adam would go hard all day when it comes to it being a sandwich. Mike Maniscalco is not having it, so I love it.
I'm not even going to entertain that thought.
Yeah.
So, are you one of the people that will put the condiments on the bun before you put the actual hot dog in the bun? Do you do that?
Not usually.
I do that sometimes because actually you can just rotate the hot dog. That way it's completely surrounded in the condiment.
If you're making it yourself, that's always super, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
But usually I'm thinking of when you go to the ballpark, they're already giving it to you. So unless you're maneuvering things, but
Which is all possible.
Yeah. So I don't know. To each their own.
To each
I
their own.
guess.
Here's why I view hot dogs. So some people are like, oh, you can't put ketchup on a hot dog. I'm like, put whatever you want.
Yeah, right.
Put whatever you want.
It's a vehicle.
If you
want to
put cereal on there, by all means do it.
Right. Exactly.
Whatever you want.
I know.
I mean, I don't know of anyone who's put cereal on a hot dog before, but you might look and be like, do you think cereal belongs on hot dogs? Yeah? I guess it does.
Maybe. I don't know. You could bread stuff with cereal potentially.
Exactly.
I don't see why not. But yeah, so there you go. National Hot Dog Day. Maybe there's some things going on, but you could try to win $2,500 if you put some crazy stuff on it.
Go for it. And honestly, there are a lot of great local hot dog spots in throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
Look them up and go. Support a local business, enjoy hot dogs.
Yeah.
Do it. Even on a day not like today, still go do it.
Oh, yeah. Always support local.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one thing that you shouldn't be supporting is bandits. Not Band-Aids. Bandits.
Bandits?
So this is in California. And have you ever you've seen Home Alone before, right?
Oh,
Because we've
course.
That's my favorite.
The wet bandits?
Yes. Well, these are called the Hugging Bandits, and they're in California. Well, they have been caught. So what they would regularly do is run up to strangers, give them a big hug, whether you're wearing a free hug t-shirt or not, and steal the jewelry right off of you, and then run away.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay. So they're just jewel thieves.
They're jewel thieves, and they try to use happiness and hugging to distract people.
Oh, hi. And they're just like,
exactly.
There goes your necklace.
Which that's totally no. People's bubbles. You can't, no.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't just randomly go to people and hug them.
Ever since COVID happened, yes, there is a bubble. Please
Even
and thank you.
pre-COVID, there
Oh,
should have
even
been a
pre-COVID, yeah. But yeah, afterward, there's definitely a bubble. So.
If you want to give someone a hug, hey, look, if it's okay, I would love to give you a hug. And someone says,
Sure.
no, okay, cool, no.
Well, if someone's wearing a free hug t-shirt, then they're inviting it. But these were not, and they have done this so many times. They've stolen about 50 pieces of jewelry doing this. So that's how they got the name of
the Hugging Bandits.
The Hugging Bandits in California. You know something's up if people are hugging each other in California, because apparently it's not a friendly state. I don't know.
All right. I love hugs. Who doesn't love a good hug?
I know, exactly. And last but not least, speaking of sweet, I guess, Kentucky is apparently the biggest sweet tooth state, according to the American Heart and Association.
That tracks.
That is it. So, yeah, if you're wondering, Kentucky is the most. They have a ton of sweets and stuff out there, and most people, abide by that. So
Okay.
I don't know, in case you were wondering.
All right.
They win. I was looking for us to win, like being the sweet state, since everyone wants to move here, but we're not.
Yeah, we're definitely not.
We are sweet. It's
We're making the best barbecue in the country.
Oh my goodness.
That's what we're busy
Yes,
doing.
we do. And delicious sodas too.
Oh,
oh man, that's a whole nother
all
story.
the different things. But you know what?
Story. We got to play some bets.
We got to play some bets. We could potentially win the fake money that we want to win to buy a lot of hot dogs.
I know.
And I never slide. Okay, you can own me. I owe you.
All right, Victoria, start things off.
Okay, so I have baseball that we're going to do today.
Okay.
And I don't know. These games, they're to be determined because they're coming up on Friday, but there's not much going on today. So give me the Cubs just to win outright because they're already plus 104. They're taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks on Friday.
Okay.
So we'll see. Who knows?
The path for the playoffs for the Charlotte Hornets begins today. At 5:30, NBA Summer League action. Hornets take on the Boston Celtics. They're taking down the former champs. Give me the Hornets, plus 154.
Hey, why not?
I know, like, current players really don't play in these summer leagues.
Yeah.
They really don't. I mean, like, at least not star players. I mean, it's guys that just got drafted and that kind of stuff. But I get it, folks.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But give me the Hornets. The playoff push starts now.
All right. Why not?
Plus
Hey,
154 on the money line.
Why not? My next one, I'll look at the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the New York Yankees. Since there's no specifics, it's going to be Friday. I'm just going to take the Rays because they're underdogs, and everyone likes an underdog to win now and then. They're plus 150.
Everyone loves a good underdog
Yeah.
story, right? Everyone loves a good underdog and a good hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I have to do it. Open championship. Give me Rory. Rory McIlroy wins the Open Championship at plus 850. I'm doing this one for Adam.
See, and that's going to be
Not
my
that he
last
asked me
one.
to, I'm just doing it for him.
I was gonna pick a winner too, but for me, I can't do Rory. I've got to go with Scotty Scheffler because how do you go against Scotty? This is like his year, so
I mean,
and he's still plus money too. By the way, he's plus 450. So I just feel like maybe that's a no-brainer.
I see it plus 500.
Okay.
So take that.
Nice.
Take the plus
Well, hey,
500.
I
Better
would-
odds.
I would take it on your site versus the site that I'm on right now.
That's totally fair.
Yes.
Take the plus 500.
And you should always look around. If you do decide to use real units, you should look and see what the odds are.
Absolutely. Now, final one for me, Victoria. Little soccer action here in the state of North Carolina. Charlotte FC taking on the Columbus Crew.
Ah.
That's right. Charlotte teams are taking down former champs again, just like the Hornets are going to beat the Celtics in the Summer League. Give me the Charlotte FC. Just not the Charlotte FC, just Charlotte FC. Give me Charlotte FC plus 390 on the money line to take down the Columbus Crew. Upset time. That's at 7:30 tonight, by the way. 7:30 tonight. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show. We talked about Rory. Rory to win the British Open. He talked about missing the U.S. Open title coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the summer of soccer.
Federski for Capetti. It's stolen away by Hack. Hit the line by Gaines. A shot. He scores!
All the saves.
Polina with brilliant quick footwork across his 6-yard box to be able to recover and grab the strike from Kubo.
All the goals.
Places it back into the area for Swiderski. One touch. He scores!
The Triangle's home for Charlotte FC action. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Batter up! Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Duke University's Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, the film's original screenwriter Ron Shelton has adapted the story for the musical, so you can follow Crash Davis's Durham Bulls story and his romantic love triangle in a new genre. The perfect blend of comedy, drama, and steamy romance. Get your tickets for Bull Durham, a new musical, today. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
Hungry for flavor and value? Then it's Bo time. Nothing slays the hunger beast like some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. And there's never been a better time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich cravings than now with Bojangles Summer Sandwich lineup. You can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a crispy Cajun filet club sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a sandwich combo and add your choice of a side. Maybe Bojangles seasoned fries, dirty rice, or Cajun pintos. And to complete the perfect meal, Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone in the family. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? You know you're hungry, and you know you want flavor and value. So, it's Bojangles Sandwich Combo time. Planning an engagement? Now's the time. It's Bailey's Fine Jewelry's spectacular Engagement Ring Blowout. 3 days only. Engagement rings, loose diamonds, and wedding bands. Up to 60% off. You'll be blown away by the huge selection of diamond sizes and engagement ring styles near cost, at cost, even below cost. Bailey's Engagement Ring Blowout. July 25th through 27th in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
Window Nation can help beat the heat in your home with a buy two, get two free offer on insulated, energy-efficient windows, plus 0 down and no interest or payments for 2 years. Schedule an in-home estimate now at 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? You've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of STP full synthetic oil with an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
The person who right now, I think, is the best athlete in the world, Carlos Alcaraz. I believe the stage is set for him to become the next great one in the sport of tennis. Carlos Alcaraz is the best tennis player in the world today. That's not a hot take. That is an obvious statement of fact. Right now, of the athletes who we would describe as abnormally young, as freakishly young, whose future would you bet on before you would bet on his?
By the way, Victoria, you mentioned here during the 7th inning stretch just a moment ago about National Hot Dog Day, and actually someone actually did chime in about what they put on their hot dog.
Oh, nice.
And actually the process we put on, because I asked you the question of, do you put the condiments on before you put the hot dog on the bun? Like, do you put condiments on the bun first, then put the hot dog in, or you hot dog first, then condiments? This actually comes from D. Ely. He says, actually, you go ketchup first, then the hot dog, then mustard, and then he also does sauerkraut as well.
Oh, I like how he sandwiches the toppings.
Yeah, so it's like you're layering it. I'm like, okay, I never thought about doing that before.
I like it.
Maybe I'll try that next time.
I know.
Maybe if I cook up a bunch of hot dogs today, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do ketchup in the bun, hot dog, then mustard on top. Surround it.
I want to
like
know
that.
what weird toppings people have. If you're watching on the live stream, you could put in the comments like what you like. I've never done this. And I know that you say you don't like mayonnaise, but I have heard people put mayonnaise on hot dogs.
I think mayonnaise is disgusting. And if that's what you want to do, by all means, just keep it away from me.
Yeah. I mean, I like it in, pasta salads, on sandwiches, stuff like that. So I don't mind it. But yeah, I haven't ventured on hot dogs.
And that live stream that Victoria you just mentioned is 99.9 The Fan, which is based in Raleigh, North Carolina, is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. Feel free to follow the 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to their page. The Adam Gold Show is streamed live from noon to 3 every single day, live on YouTube. So wherever you might be. And also it's an opportunity for you to leave thoughts in the comment section, as Victoria said. Leave your thoughts on stuff and to interact with us there. Also, you can give V to the Victoria.
Yes. on the Twitter.
On X. Mm-hmm. Also at the Fan Rookie for me as well. But until then, we'll dive into some of that stuff a little bit later on. But let's actually get into the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
So looking back at the U.S. Open here in Pinehurst, and we did place our bets, Victoria. I know you said Scotty Scheffler. He's your guy. It's the year of Scotty. Well, Scotty Scheffler had a terrible U.S. Open.
He did.
Didn't even make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I think he actually barely snuck in. But terrible U.S. Open. He was the betting favorite going in. Rory McIlroy had it. I sat on this show the Monday after the U.S. Open, and I sit there and say, that dude had it, and he let it slip.
Yeah.
Let it slip because he had a 2-stroke lead on Bryce and DeChambeau. Rory was 8 under. DeChambeau was 6 under. DeChambeau finished 6 under. McIlroy finished 5 under. The guy collapsed. He let it go. Simple as that. Now ahead of the British Open, the Open Championship. Don't want to offend people. Ahead of the Open Championship, Rory McIlroy actually talked about shaking off that loss at Pinehurst.
Yeah, it's good. Game's in really good shape. Had a nice reset after Pinehurst that was needed, and felt like I, shook off a little bit of the rust last week and played okay. Felt like I probably could have given myself more of a chance to win the tournament, but thought it was a solid week. And again, it's like one eye on preparing for this week, but another eye on trying to get into contention as well. But overall, I've been in the UK now for a couple of weeks, and it's felt nice to get back over here and get back into the swing of things.
Okay, so a couple things in there. Shook off that. Okay, did you shake it off when you peeled out of there 10 minutes after Bryce DeChambeau sank that final putt? Not even, I don't think. Peeled out in your car and bolted, didn't even talk to the media, didn't face the music.
No one.
And it's like, I wish I was giving myself more of a chance. You were up 2 strokes in like the final 5 holes.
You had it.
You did. You had it more of a chance. You were up 2.
Mm-hmm.
And DeChambeau didn't gain ground on you. You lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Giving yourself more of a chance. I wish I would give myself more of a chance.
You gave yourself all the chances.
You had it. All you had to do was par. If you hit par, you win that thing walking away.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're standing there on the 18th green just watching Bryce and you're like, yeah, man, I got you, man. Sorry.
Yep, have fun.
Have putt for second.
Right.
Putt for second.
Right.
There's a lot of money in second place.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just standing right here. Like as soon as you sink that final putt, I'm storming this green. Where's my trophy? Give yourself more of a chance, dude. You had it. This is a thing that sports is so much between the ears.
It really is.
Like it's so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
People talk like, it's sports. It's 80% mental. Not more. There's so many people that are physically gifted that can do. There are people out there that can hit a golf ball as good as anybody out there on the planet.
Right.
Or can throw a football or jump as high or run as fast. Any of the things that we see physically done on a field, a court, a course, whatever it might be on the ice.
Yeah.
So many people.
How Michael Phelps was physically perfect to swim.
Body
you can't
physically.
change that. Yeah.
You can't change
physics. Yeah.
But the mental part of the game is so vastly underrated. And because we as fans and people that consume, we don't actually see what's going on between your head. We just see what you physically do. It's so mental. Sports is such a mental game. Let's actually shift gears real quick to college football. Little college football. Because Big 12 had their media days last week. And, if someone's got to talk about college football, it's got to be the SEC stooge himself, Paul Feinbaum, including about Colorado in this upcoming football season.
I think college football now, especially with the 12-team playoff, is about can you get in or not. It's not about how much social media traction you get, whether your son is a great player. And I want to get this out of the way. I have great respect for Coach Prime and his son, but I also thought his son's comments the other day about everyone, where everyone's Super Bowl was really ludicrous. I cover the SEC primarily, but the big picture in college football. And after a couple weeks of the season, Colorado will cease to exist, just like last year. Yeah, they owned the sport for 4 or 5 weeks until they got exposed. And where they really got exposed was in the offseason when they lost nearly 50 players. And that is no way to build a championship football program. And I thought that's what it's all about. But apparently a lot of my friends in the media think Deion Sanders is bigger than the sport, and he is simply not.
Okay, a few things that were kind of to unpack in that comment. It's like, all right, Shador saying, like, yeah, we're everyone's Super Bowl because everyone gets hyped up to play us because of the notoriety around the program now with Deion being there. That's what he meant. Not like, oh, we're playing Alabama and it's just a great program in history and all that kind of stuff. He meant it's like we're everyone's Super Bowl in the sense of, hey, let's take down Coach Prime because they have the hype and all that stuff around it. That's what he was saying. So there's that. But also, like, let's keep in mind about what Deion took over. Deion took over a 1-11 football team. 1-11, a team the year before that went 4-8.
Right, let's not forget.
Like, they were an irrelevant football team. Like, irrelevant. They were 1-11. And he had to take that over. And he tried to rebuild that roster. And he had, like, however many new guys and transfers and stuff come in. And, yeah, he had a bunch of guys hit the transfer portal this past offseason. That's sometimes what it takes to get the guys in that you need to get in. Because, hey, you know what? I need to retool this roster to start getting some guys in here that I want. And, yeah, there are going to be guys that hit the transfer portal and they're going to end up leaving. But that's more opportunity for me to get the guys that I want. Yeah, Deion took over a awful Colorado football team. And, yeah, their defense was not that good. And, yeah, as Paul Feinbaum said, yeah, it's got exposed. And that's okay. Again, Colorado was 1-11, and Deion took it over, and they went 4-8. Now, they had a couple big wins, like the big win to start against TCU to start the year. Good start. And again, they got exposed. That's fine. Like, it happens. Hot start, fizzled out. All right. Now you see what you do next year. You progress. Do you go 7-5? Go to a bowl game. Or maybe 8-4. Progression from year 1 to year 2. I don't know why everyone was thinking that, oh, Deion's taking over this 1-11 football team, but what were we expecting, 10 wins last year?
Right.
Wasn't going to happen overnight.
No.
Not for a program like Colorado. Sorry. Not for a program like Colorado. That really, if you take away the COVID year of 2020, because they did go to a bowl game then, they've only been to 2 bowl games in the last 15 years, 16 years. They went 2007. They went to the Independence Bowl. They were 6-6 during the regular season. Now in 2016, they had like an anomaly season where they went 10-4, but they played in the Alamo Bowl. So 10-2 regular season. I think they lost in the Pac-12 championship, and they lost in the Alamo Bowl. So they had a 10-win season. But that's it. That's it since 2006. The 2 actual bowl trips. Again, the COVID season was just, it's kind of an anomaly type year because everything that happened. But that's the program that Deion took over. It's not like he took over LSU. Easy there, folks.
No.
All right, actually, one final soundbite. Speaking of college football, Carson Beck, quarterback of Georgia. Hey, a lot of expectations this coming season. A lot of people consider him the best QB in the country.
I think for me, I'm very team-focused. I'm very team-oriented. So my focus is on how can I help our wide receivers be better? How can I help our running backs be better? And when I am externally focused compared to internally focused, it takes off those expectations and the pressure is totally wiped off my shoulders. It's not even a thing because I'm not focused on myself. And that's just always how I've tried to approach the game. And as a quarterback, how can I make the people around me better?
Okay, saying all the right things. Saying all the right things. Did you know this, Victoria? Came out a few months back. Carson Beck, the quarterback for Georgia, bought a $300,000 Lamborghini earlier this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that NIL money hitting a little different nowadays, isn't it?
Woo! That's crazy. That's the opposite of like my 300,000 mile car.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like I bought a motorcycle.
That's
used.
nuts.
45 miles to a gallon. You know, I got that going for me.
NIL money could buy him that?
Yes. I will not say this player's name because I did see a player in public, and I talked to the player directly. I knew exactly who this player was. Player here in the state of North Carolina. I saw a couple weeks ago. Again, I spoke to the person. He knew who I was. I knew who he was. Was in a Jaguar SUV.
Ooh, fancy.
Jaguar SUV.
Jaguar, if you want to be real fancy.
That NIL money hitting a little bit different.
Wow.
And you know what? Good on them. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Get
If
it
that's
while
your
you
mode of
can.
transportation to and from, fine. It's what it is. And I'm still watching the games.
Yeah.
Just like you are. Just like everyone else is.
Mhm.
You're still watching the games. Speaking of college football in ACC, why are people trying to tear it down? It almost feels like people want to see the ACC crumble on itself. We dive into that in 4 minutes.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you ready?
From 54, snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good!
Over the middle it goes, and he's got Puka Nacua to the 30, to the 20. No one's going to catch him.
Back to throw, Crosby off the edge, and he's got him back at the 23! Tua back to throw, deep, down the numbers on the left, and the Cheetahs got it! Touchdown!
The NFL kicks off August 1st on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. Coach Pete was in studio with me a few weeks ago, and he gave me this list of questions. How do you factor in inflation? What about the extended warranty? Do you talk about retirement planning? I don't even know what any of these things mean, but I have a question for you. If you are interested in retiring and you want to plan for it, wouldn't you go to the best? And that's Coach Pete DeRuta. 888-843-0013. That's the only question you have to ask. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700. I'm going to get you a total customized retirement plan free of charge, and that is a $1,000 value. So you can do whatever you want in retirement because you will have the finances to do it. Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700 for Coach Pete DeRuta.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
New $80 million cash blowout and triple red sevens mean new winners. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds winning range from 1 in 4.28 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The best summer savings for golfers is now at Global Golf in Raleigh. This week only, save up to 60% on all tailor-made pre-owned golf clubs. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf gear. Whether you need some new grips, professional lessons, or wanting to trade in your current clubs, swing by Global Golf at 7320 ACC Boulevard. Don't miss amazing summer sales and more at Global Golf, home to the best deals in golf.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products. price. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Tim Donnelly here from my friends at Zero Res. And if you're like me, you love to DIY, right? Do it yourself, save the money. I can tell you from experience, they Zero Resified my house, and you can't get it this clean by yourself with the carpet soaking machines or anything else you can rent. Go ahead, give them a call now, 919-995-0000, and ask for the Station Special. That's the $99.9, the Fan Special. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $109 and get a free hallway done on top of that.
This is Adam Gold.
It was crazy, too. After the first period, the shots on goal, the Maple Leafs goalie didn't even have to do anything most of the game.
Yeah, Joseph Wall was bored.
Yes.
In the first period.
He was knitting a sweater at one point. I mean,
lovely. A lovely sweater.
He was making syrup. I mean, it was weird.
The Adam Gold Show.
You know, one of the things that I don't understand, it feels like there are people who want to see the ACC just completely be destroyed. And I do not get it. So, Victoria, we post videos from this show and like the shows that I work on. We post them on YouTube. We post the clips on there.
Yeah.
And we read the comments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we've had a lot of conversations about Florida State and Clemson, especially this week, about the reports of how apparently the Big 12 is interested in them. Brett McMurphy of Action Sports Network said how that the Big 10 really is not interested in Florida State.
Right.
And he talked to multiple sources, and his sources being university presidents and like athletic directors and like high-ranking people at schools, saying, no, not interested because, like, I'm not going to bring this whiny child into our conference because, you know, they're whining and complaining because they don't have their own way. Like, why would I bring that in? Like, they're just going to whine and complain when they don't have their way here? I don't want that. Plus, also, it's just they don't add that much value to what they're doing already. Like, if none at all. I'm not saying that Florida State is terrible or they're bad or they're not worth anything, but it feels like, I don't know if it's just coming from Florida State fans that want to get out of the ACC because they're pissed off. Maybe it's coming from them that want to see the ACC implode on itself because that's their only way out.
Right.
Maybe that's it. But we see, like, reading comments about people like, oh, FSU, like, no, they're valuable. Like, why wouldn't the SEC or why wouldn't the Big Ten want them? It's like, well, last time I checked, the Big Ten and the SEC are making a ton of money without you.
Exactly.
Same with Clemson.
They don't need you.
They don't need you.
Mm-mm.
Like, they already maxed out what they can get from, like, Big Ten from Fox and CBS and NBC, or what the SEC is getting from Disney with their deal, ESPN and ABC. Like, they're already making the max anyway. It's like, unless when you showing up is going to bring even more, and it's like, oh, wow, the pie got bigger. Like, oh, we could stand to make a few $1 million more if we bring this school in. Let's find every avenue that we can to get them here. But guess what? You don't. But now it seems like there are people that want to see the ACC just fall flat on its face. Maybe they're upset that they didn't expand the way the Big Ten did. Or they didn't get the prize of Texas, which ACC tried to do years ago. Maybe they didn't get those things. So now, because based off revenue, they're the third-rated conference and behind the Big Ten and SEC based on revenue in terms of media dollars earned. Does that make you the third best conference? Does that just put you a bronze medal ACC for everything now because of that reason? Like, no, it doesn't. We're so captivated with looking at everything through the lens of football that we don't see the bigger picture. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna stare at, like, there's this beautiful tapestry over here, and I'm only gonna look at the back end of it where there's just frayed threads and muddy colors, and not actually like turning around and see like, oh wow, look at this big picture that we actually have right here. Just because now the ACC locked itself into a deal years ago, far before the SEC. Like, the ACC kind of set the standard of media rights deals for conferences and so forth. They kind of set the standard. Now, everything kind of evolved, but no one knew it back at the day when that deal was signed years ago with the ACC, how television consumption would evolve and change. No one knew at the time what it was going to be like today. If they would have known, they would have planned for it. Nobody knew at that time, especially with COVID kind of advanced a lot of things in terms of technology because everyone was working remotely. So again, things had to evolve very quickly. That's where we get the boost in streaming platforms and those kinds of things. But I don't understand why people want to see the ACC fail. Like, why? ACC has the richest history, arguably, of any conference out there. Like, why? Like, why do we want to tear that away? For what? Dollars?
Yeah.
That just makes us greedy.
I know. Plus, it's fun to have different perspectives, different conferences. I mean, it's fun to support different things. And I don't know. It just adds to the excitement to the sport as a whole.
It's the whole thing that makes college sports great.
Yeah.
It's tradition, rivalries, regional for that matter. Like, we talk State, Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest all playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the ACC. That's awesome. I wish they would bring back the Big Four tournament in Greensboro Coliseum between those four schools. I want to see that happen.
Yeah.
I've even stated live before. I'll state it again. My dream Final Four is State, Duke, Carolina, and Wake Forest. Like, that's my dream Final Four. But it's because of the traditions of that. And the SEC has tons of great traditions themselves as well. Big Ten has their classic rivalries and matchups that they do too.
Yeah, just like you wouldn't want to see that go away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see any of it go away. That's why it hurt me to see the Pac-12 go away.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt me to see the Pac-12 go away. Because you're going to miss a lot of those rivalries and stuff that the Pac-12 used to have. I actually love the old tradition of the Rose Bowl being Big Ten versus Pac-12 champion. Or used to be Pac-10. I love that tradition for the Rose Bowl. I love that. But for some reason, we want to tear it away. And that's the thing that frustrates me, is that it's not only fans and people online that maybe want to see it torn away, but it's the people that actually have the control over the sport, for some reason, want to break it up. It's like, oh, like, we have this great thing going with college sports. Let's see how we can monetize it even further. Let's go dollars and cents, when you're actually ripping away the heart of what actually made the thing relevant. I understand, like, Florida State's frustrations with the ACC. And again, I think a lot of it, had they made the college football playoff, and again, that was a decision by the college football playoff committee, not by Jim Phillips and the ACC, for them to not be in the CFP.
No.
If they were in the college football playoff, which they rightfully deserve to be in, if that was the case, then I don't know if we're in this spot right now. Maybe eventually we got there in terms of the lawsuits from FSU. But you can tell FSU, it was the moment they got left out of the CFP, how more action took place.
And I think as a whole, everyone in the ACC, regardless of who you support in the ACC, felt the same way.
Oh,
they were
100%.
behind
It's
FSU.
like, we were right behind you. Like, we really were. And the reason why they got left out was because their quarterback, Jordan Travis, was hurt. That's the reason why. Not because the ACC wasn't good.
Right.
It's
Which
because
is a garbage
the quarterback,
region.
it's stupid.
It's just a garbage reason.
It's a poor excuse.
And that's why it also stung even more, because it makes no sense.
Because it literally said, like, well, it's because their quarterback got hurt. It's like, it doesn't matter. They earned it out there on the field.
And they still won without him, so your argument's mute.
This is also a problem I have with sports, especially when it comes to football. Is like, everything's about the QB. No, it's not.
It's not.
I understand it's a vital piece, and you say it's toughest sport, most important, whatever. That's fine. I get that. And I'm not saying you're wrong in that, but it's not the only thing. And the fact that committee members just dumbed it down to that one thing is stupid. And that's the reason why we're in this spot. It's not because the ACC's bad. Last time I checked, they had as many like top 15 teams as anyone else did.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb. And here's the thing as well. It's like, okay, FSU, like you're upset that you got left out of the CFP. It's expanding to 12.
Yeah.
Like your path to get to that point is the same as everyone else. Like it got even easier for you. Got even easier. It's like, but we want more money. We want more money. Like, no, you guys actually have run yourself terribly as an athletic department. They put more money into athletics than any other ACC school. Remember, Chip Patterson actually said that to Adam. Or maybe it was Luke DeCock. I can't remember whomever it was yesterday that said it here on the show with Adam. That they've spent more money on athletics than any other program in the entire ACC. You're just ticked. You got nothing to show for it because you can't run yourself properly. It's the reason why Maryland went and ran to the Big Ten, because they ran their athletic department into the ground financially, and they just needed the money. Because Maryland sucks at running their athletic department. Terrible. Back like 20 years ago, they made the Orange Bowl with it was Ralph Friedgen was the head coach. And this is going to be a thing for us. This is what we're going to be normally. So let's go ahead and expand Bird Stadium and put all this money into the other facilities and stuff. Just assuming that this money from going to, the New Year's Six was going to be coming in every year, when that's reality didn't happen. They sold the naming rights for their basketball arena to Comcast, and they worked out a deal where they weren't even getting paid for a stretch of time from Comcast for the naming rights of their basketball arena. That's how terribly run they were. And Florida State, terribly run athletic department in terms of how they're handling things financially. And now they're crying how they're poor. I was like, you spent all your money, now you're crying how you're poor? You're Florida State with a massive alumni base and a tradition rich as anyone else's in college football. We need money. No, you don't. Jump to the Big 12? Cool. Go for it. You're upset at yourself. And the only way that you can get out is seeing the ACC implode on itself. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only way you can get out, to see the ACC crumble. So you want it to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them complain about something, even if they were with a different conference.
Oh, 100%.
It's just a matter of time.
100%. Dumb. So dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam today. Not sitting in for Victoria. She's sitting right over there producing the show today. On the other side, a former Carolina Panther said something great about someone who's leading the Carolina Panthers right now. We'll have that and more coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power. Whether you're home or away, power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Stop in today for a demo or visit us online at actce.com. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
The
The new Bluebell Cookies and Cream Cheesecake is cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. Again, cheesecake ice cream with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. Buy two.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Turning 65 soon? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
The North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is excited to announce that the Canine Champions for Conservation is back for a second year. This guest favorite experience features rescue dogs performing thrilling agility challenges to raise awareness and support for wildlife conservation efforts. Shows run now through Labor Day weekend and are free with entry to the North Carolina Zoo. To learn more about this tail-wagging experience and other zoo-related activities, visit nczoo.org. Plan your next zoo adventure today.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. What is wrong with you? You don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la mode? No, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
Maybe I can Amazon Prime myself some brownie mix. Is there a deal on that?
Maybe, because today is like day 2,
It's
right?
day 2 of Amazon Prime days. Have you purchased anything yet, Victoria?
No, I haven't. I'm not like a member or whatever.
Oh, you're not a Prime member? That's fine. That's still...
It, prevents me from just buying random things off Amazon because I could do...
Hey, you know what?
I could do that all day.
Self-discipline and self-control. Hey, awareness,
Until
Victoria.
my bank account is like, stop it.
That's called overdraft. That's what your bank account's saying. That stop it means you overdrafted.
There's a problem, Victoria.
That's what that is. $25 fee for overdrafting. That's the stop it.
Right.
But this thing, I needed it.
I
did buy, I bought 2 things. So I bought, for my motorcycle, I bought like a foam mount. So in case I need navigation, in case I'm going somewhere that I'm not entirely sure where the roads and stuff are, for navigation. So a mount for my phone on the handlebar for that. And then I also got, because it's so stupid hot outside.
It is very hot.
I got a pair of pants that are actually like mesh, so like very breathable, so allow like the air to flow through, but it still has the armor protection in the knees and the hip areas, just in case, knock on wood, something happens, that I protect myself, when out there on the road on the motorcycle. But I want to be able to ride, but this weather sucks.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to enjoy my motorcycle a little bit more often. So I bought those.
I know the feeling. You'll like it when it rains and you get caught in the rain because it pulls you off.
That's the thing, is like I'm very much like I'm if I want to ride my motorcycle, I'm very meticulous about checking the weather.
Yeah.
Very meticulous about checking the weather, because for example, parked here at the station. I don't want my bike, caught out in the rain. I'll bring a cover or something like that with me if I need to.
Yep.
Or if I can't park it in a covered spot. But I also don't want to be riding down the road and just all of a sudden just it opens up and I got to find shelter, as soon as possible. So I'm very meticulous about checking the weather and all those kinds of things. So happy Prime Days to you, Victoria. The fact that you're not enjoying it like many of us are. And that's okay.
Well,
and that's okay. Maybe people can order Amazon Prime a copy of Dave Canales' book.
Maybe.
Which we haven't really talked about a whole lot. Like Dave Canales.
He has a book.
He has a book that he wrote
know.
about talking about like some infidelity that he had learned with his wife, his addiction to, let's say, adult content.
Right.
Those kinds of things. Like he's been very open about it. He and his wife have been extremely open about it and like how he's basically turned his life around in many senses, which I think is good on him, for being open about it and honest about it to teach others about it. And I'm 100%
happy for him that he's doing that. I mean, he's making himself very vulnerable by doing this. So, but hey, that's maybe his part of healing is, making people aware.
Being vulnerable is not an easy thing. Sorry to cut you off there, Victoria.
No,
being vulnerable is not an easy thing for a lot of people. And I mean, gosh, it's hard enough for people to be vulnerable in a one-on-one setting with a partner, with a husband or a wife. That's hard in and of itself to be vulnerable. For him to be out there, not just for his team that he's coaching and the players that he's coaching, but for everyone to see, hey, I'm open and honest about this thing. So Dave Canales, now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, that positivity that we've seen, by all accounts, is truly authentically him. And including a former Carolina Panther, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield played quarterback at the start of the 2022 season for the Carolina Panthers, was nicked up and hurt, eventually kind of got benched. And then there's P.J. Walker played and Sam Darnold was playing. And then that was the year Christian McCaffrey got traded to the San Francisco 49ers. And Baker Mayfield decides hey, look, you know what? Things aren't working out. If you guys just go ahead and release me. The Panthers said, sure, we'll go ahead and let you go. And then 2 days later, he's playing for the L.A. Rams and they're winning football games. And then he finds himself in Tampa Bay at the start of the 2023 season, does Baker Mayfield. And his new offensive coordinator, first-time play caller in the NFL, is Dave Canales. Now, Dave Canales is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. He was asked on Pro Football, not Pro Football Talk, on Pardon My Take, on that podcast with Big Cat and PFT. Baker Mayfield was asked, is Dave Canales going to be a good head coach?
Good. He's very relatable, smart guy. He took our receivers coach from Tampa with him to be the OC, Brad Idzik. Really, really good football mind. And I just think those two guys together, around Bryce, is going to be good for him. But Dave's got the definition of an optimist bully. It could be the worst day ever. Everything could be going wrong. And he's sitting there, he's like, guys, I got the next play. And he's got a big old smile on his face. And you're like, this guy's full of shit.
Yeah.
But no, that's literally who he is, day in and day out. And it's honestly refreshing, especially in that industry. It's coaches are always negative, picking apart everything, but he's complete opposite.
There's a couple things in there we talked about Baker said there at the very end. In that industry, look, I played football, played through high school. I played it at the start of college. I decided to stick with lacrosse, but I get it. The football culture and things like that, I get it. How, Victoria, you and I were talking about just a moment ago about with Canales and the fact that he wrote a book about his infidelity and his, addiction to, I would just say adult content, in case you got kids in the car. But he shows vulnerability with that. He's open and he's honest. The fact that Dave Canales not only is positive, but also willing and open to be vulnerable with his players, I think is a good thing. Because if you are willing to be open and honest with your players about who you are and your faults as a person, I think will only allow players to realize, hey, you know what? I can be open and honest about my faults as a person and a player and have that level of communication. I coached college lacrosse for 9 years, and I always felt like if a player was willing to be vulnerable with me, it's because I was willing to be vulnerable with them about what I was thinking, what I was feeling, things that I was struggling with, not only as a coach, but in my personal life, as a way to relate with them. I used to have conversations with my players when I was coaching, especially when I was a head coach. I would sit down and say, like, every 2 weeks, stop by my office. Like, we can schedule a time in advance, just 10 minutes. I just want to know how things are going in your life, school-wise, family, and all that kind of stuff back home. And we would have these conversations just about life and other things outside of the actual sport. And I realized once we had those conversations that players could actually trust me and I could trust them. It's amazing how they were able to respond out there playing on the field. It's because, like, hey, you know what? I've built a level of trust with this person that's leading me. And that goes a long, long way. And Victoria, I know we've talked about it earlier about how this is going to benefit Bryce Young tremendously. Like Baker Mayfield said, Dave Canales, Brad Idzik, who's now the offensive coordinator, great football minds.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. And just the way they coach and the way they approach things, I love hearing it. But Dave Canales now only has to worry about Bryce Young. He has to worry about the other 52 guys in the locker room, plus the practice squad, plus the rest of the staff. Like, he has to worry about that across the board. And learning how to be a successful coach takes time. It's not going to be instant overnight. And I'm wondering how the message is going to play out and how Dave Canales is going to handle things if things don't start well.
Right, which it's likely they
If things
won't.
don't start well. Like, let's say, for example, they go 1-3 to start the year because they're still trying to figure things out. I think you and I, Victoria, talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was sitting in for Adam. It's going to take time for all, like, just offensively with new personnel of get two new starting offensive linemen.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of new people on and off the field. So they got to grow that continuity together to, just get used to each other and see what it's like under pressure. A lot of guys haven't played, a game together. So that will be interesting. It's all going to be a learning curve.
Massive learning curve. Two new starting offensive linemen, plus their starting center has been a guard pretty much his whole career.
Yeah.
2 new wide receivers, another tight end, another running back in the mix. Off the field in terms of your offensive coaching staff is completely different.
All of it.
It's all new. Your defensive staff stayed the same. But
Yeah.
your offensive staff, it's all completely different. It's going to take time for it all to mesh together. And everyone's just kind of trying to figure out what their roles are. You don't really know what you're capable of doing until you actually try and do it.
Yeah.
And that's something that Dave Canales has to figure out. Dave Canales has to figure things out, not just for like what he did last year with Baker Mayfield and the offense for Tampa Bay. He's got to figure it out for everybody.
I know. At least with his track record with quarterbacks specifically, I at least feel a little better for Bryce because if we're going to invest all of this time, energy, money into this one player, this one position, like at least let's rock this out of the park and like get him where he needs to be. And then we'll see, you might as well. I mean, you put all this effort into it. Might as well try. And I feel like Dave is probably the best option, just looking at his track record.
And I think that's something that we're going to see going forward, is that this is going to be, in terms of Bryce, I think they saw what he was able to do with Baker Mayfield, what he did helping as a position coach with Geno Smith in the Seattle Seahawks, how he was able to turn things around with him. Maybe this is that. That is the reason why he was brought in.
Yeah.
To be that guy. Like, hey, look, help turn things around for our former number 1 overall pick. But Canales is going to have to learn that he's got to do it with everybody. And training camp starts 1 week from today.
Exactly.
Is their first practice. It's at 9:30 a.m. in Charlotte 1 week from today.
Maybe that optimistic
Crazy to
side
think
of
about.
Dave will be good for the rest of the team because that's the other thing that we need. Is
That's what I think. Like that's what I mean. Like he's responsible for everyone. That optimism and all that has to translate for everybody. He can't just be Bryce's coach.
No.
And especially for us when we talk about it, we can't look at it from just the lens of just number 9 for the Carolina Panthers. That's Bryce Young's jersey number. Like we have to look at it more than just that. Like what Canales is doing with Bryce. Dave Canales isn't Bryce Young's coach. He's the Panthers coach. He has to be more than just Bryce Young's coach. Now, understand, like, that's going to be a lot of his focus. I get it. Totally understand. But when we look at the team as a whole, it all falls on Canales. It does, because he's the head coach of the team. Again, he's not Bryce Young's coach. He's not the quarterback coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. He's the head coach. Yes, he's calling plays, but he's the head coach of the team. I love the direction the Panthers are headed. I really do. And I think they're taking steps in the right direction. It ain't going to happen overnight, but I like the direction that they're headed, Victoria.
I'm hopeful. I'm definitely hopeful.
Speaking of hopeful, I know the guy I'm sitting in for, Adam Gold, is hopeful Rory McIlroy is going to win a British Open this coming week.
Big hopeful for this.
Big time hopeful for it. By the way, I think Adam is back on Tuesday next week. I think is when he's back. He might pop in on Monday. If Rory wins, he might be in here on Monday.
No, like an
Let's be
impromptu
honest.
visit.
He's like, no. I'm sitting in here.
I got to talk about it.
I got 3 hours of Rory stroke-by-stroke coverage of the entire tournament.
Yes.
The entire thing.
Rehash it.
Now, even great players fall short. Even great athletes fall short. And that's what we saw Rory McIlroy do in the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. He fell short. He had a 2-stroke lead over Bryce and DeChambeau. He was 8 under. Rory was. DeChambeau was 6 under. DeChambeau finished the tournament 6 under. Rory finished 5 under.
Mm-hmm.
He had it. Now, Rory talked about shaking off that U.S. Open loss.
Yeah, it's good. Game's in really good shape. Had a nice reset after Pinehurst that was needed, and felt like I, shook off a little bit of the rust last week and played okay. Felt like I probably could have given myself more of a chance to win the tournament, but thought it was a solid week. And again, it's like one eye on preparing for this week, but another eye on trying to get into contention as well. But overall, I've been in the UK now for a couple of weeks, and it's felt nice to get back over here and get back into the swing of things.
Okay, shook it off. Shook it off.
Getting
Full
back
Taylor
into
Swift
shape.
over here.
I like
Shake it off.
I like how he talks. Shape.
Now, do you shake off the rust? Shake. Do you shake off that rust fully? Well, Tiger Woods, the best to do it, had some words of encouragement for Rory.
As you know, I'm your friend. I know this is a difficult moment. We've all been there as champions. We all lose. Unfortunately, it just happened. The raw emotion of it, it's still there, and it's going to be there for, I'm sure, some time. And the faster he's able to get back on a horse and get back into contention like he did last week, the better it is for him.
Sometimes that's the best thing you can do is actually just, like, okay, you lost. Let me get back to the next one. We hear this oftentimes. I know, Victoria, you go to Carolina Hurricanes games often. We hear from players after suffering a loss, sometimes if they have a back-to-back, the nice thing is, hey, we're right back at it.
Yeah.
You're right back at it.
Yep.
Because, hey, you know what?
Brush it
That's
off.
done. On to the next thing.
Mhm.
Learn from it. On to the next. The biggest thing that Rory can't do, and this is what happens with a lot of athletes, you can't let one loss linger into two. You can't let one bad shot linger into a second one. You can't let what happened at the U.S. Open linger in your head if you get to Sunday and you're sitting there like right there knocking on a win and you got a 3-foot putt for par. You can't have Pinehurst running through your head. You can't. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to miss it again. And then before you know it, snowball effect. Snowball effect. You cannot let Pinehurst beat you again. You can't beat yourself again. That's something that you can't do. And this is when I coached lacrosse in college, or coached college lacrosse. When I was working with goaltenders, I used to tell them with a goalie, look, don't let one goal allowed turn into another one. Okay, you know what? Shot goes in. You feel like you should have had it. Okay, it's over. Get the next one. Go full Dave Canales with it, right? Like Baker Mayfield said, hey, you know what? You're playing terrible. Hey, guys, we got the next play.
Right.
Hey, guys, we got the next play. Guess what, Rory? You got to tell yourself, hey, guess what? I got this next shot.
Be an optimistic bully, as he put it.
Be an optimistic bully for yourself, Rory.
Right. That's all you need.
Be an optimistic bully.
Never heard of that term, but
I know, but I love the term.
What works?
I'm actually thinking, where are some other aspects of life should we have some optimistic bullies?
Oh, my gosh. Everywhere. Everywhere. Life is, adulting is hard, so we need optimistic bullies all the time.
Optimistic bully.
Mm-hmm.
I need an optimistic bully.
Wonder if that could be a profession.
Canales, right? Oh, my gosh.
Well, I'm going to school to be an optimistic bully.
I'd write that curriculum. Dave Canales should actually write that curriculum.
He should.
How to be
That's
an
his next book.
optimistic bully.
That's his next
That's
book.
a great title.
I know, right?
No. You're going to be happy.
Yeah.
No, you are going to do great things.
Smile.
No. You're smiling. It's almost like I'm commanding it.
Right.
I'm not just demanding it. I'm commanding it.
I'm telling you.
Smile.
This is how it works.
Maybe Rory needs to be the optimistic bully for himself.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs Dave Canales to talk to him. Like, hey, you know what? You got this next shot. Like,
I think
you know what? You still have 8 holes ahead of you. Like,
everyone
let's take
needs
this
a Dave.
one hole at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that stuff can really apply to life. When you think about it, it's like, you know what? Sometimes like you're like one bad thing happens at work, then it's like the next thing, and it's the next thing, and you're thinking about like it's just snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you know what? Like I'm tired of this at work, and then I feel like I'm stuck and like I'm hitting the head on a glass ceiling, and I'm like I got this thing going on. It's just like, oh, then you take that stuff home, and then it's like, you know what? The thing didn't work the way you wanted it to at home, or you're like,
AC breaks down.
AC
or
breaks down.
something.
It's hot, or dang it, what?
Kids are crying. Like
You thought you set the dishwasher and it didn't run. Like all those different things. Like I got to go to the grocery store. And it just snowballs and it just wears on you, right? But it's like, as opposed to like, hey, you know what? What happened is done. Leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I hope Rory McIlroy does here at the Open Championship. I hope he takes what happened at Pinehurst and he leaves it there. Actually, you know what I hope Rory does? I hope if he wins the Open Championship, the British Open, that he peels out. Like he gets the claret jug, hops in the car, and peels out like he did the U.S. Open. Like this is just what I do now, guys. Like after tournaments, I'm bolting out of here. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Oh, that'd be good.
Just takes the claret jug, just walks to the car and sets it in the front seat and just drives away.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh,
it's
you
like,
know
that's
what?
why I did it at Pinehurst. This is what I do for majors now, guys.
We've got a little bit of breaking news.
Oh, hit me. What is it?
So, Carolina Hurricanes news.
Oh, hit me. Yes.
Jack Drury settled on a 2-year deal. There you go.
2-year deal. What are the terms of this 2-year deal?
I don't know the specifics, but it looks like $1.725 million. So that's all I'm seeing right now. This is like super fresh off the press. So.
Okay, I'm actually seeing Elliot Friedman, who works for, Elliot Friedman, who's like one of the big national guys. So in 2024, average annual value of 1.725. Okay, so this is actually breaking news for Jack Drury and the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, Jack Drury, 2-year, this is a bridge deal. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes still have his rights as an NHL player for the next 4 years because he's played the 3 years of his entry-level deal, and then he has 4 years left of arbitration rights. Of a restricted free agency. So as opposed to getting to arbitration, they agreed upon a deal, 2-year deal that's going to pay on $1.775 million this year, then next year $1.675 million. So average annual value of $1.725 million.
Yep.
This is actually less than I thought it would be. I figured it'd be 2 times 2.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years average annual value. Okay, so you're saving $250,000 on your cap. I'm cool with this.
Hey, yeah.
For a guy who should be your 4th line center.
Yep.
I'm a big Jack Drury guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things that he does really well, and I love his versatility that he brings to the lineup. He's a great 4th line center for this team. And if he need to, you can bump him up a little bit. But all right, so Jack Drury and the Carolina Hurricanes have settled on a 2-year deal. Average annual value, $1.725 million. Happy for Jack. That's good for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Someone for the Kansas State.
So guess what? He doesn't go to arbitration. We'll hopefully hear more about Martin Natchez coming up. This has been the Adam Gold Show. Till next time, bid you adieu. See you tomorrow.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
As we continue to get more and more behind-the-scenes info on how the trades happen